now tuned into the best, the house of consciousness. On Black News 102, you can't front, you know you've grew. Sa.neter studio, it's for them that truly know. Sa.neter TV too, bringing real talk to me and you.
Testing 1 2. Peace and blessings, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Nice Thursday afternoon. Yeah, I wanted to highlight my brother because I was just watching some footage of him the other day, last night. And I'm gonna tell you, Cedric. I see Cedric. Peace to you, Cedric. James Davis. I see you in the building. Peace, brother. I want to say that Lexx to me have become a great Israelite scholar and is now working on becoming a Kemetic scholar. And this brother is going to be a great Kemetic scholar. Why am I saying this? Because all he do is study. All this brother do is study. And his breakdown of the sa.neter is so much easier to understand than other people. When people say, oh, you know, Dr. Ben is my teacher and I learned from Dr. Ben and Dr. Jeffries. But Lexx, I feel that he have now surpassed a lot of Egyptian teachers. Yep, I'm going to say it. I don't care if you get mad at it or not. Just because he's an Israelite don't mean nothing to me. I'm going by what I see. And this brother is a good teacher. And his breakdown is crystal clear. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
What we're looking at right here is funerary scenery. In this particular scenery, you have the su plant.
This brother is capable now of going to the Metropolitan Museum and going to the Kemetic side and breaking down the sa.neter. He does it better than those who've been studying the sa.neter for damn near 20 years. I would say he probably been studying the sa.neter for what, 2 years? 2 years? He is a natural born educator. Get mad if you will. I'm just giving you how I feel about it. Let's go.
What we're looking at right here is funerary scenery. In this particular scenery, you have the su plant. It forms the word su. The oval is a bread loaf and it makes the T sound. And the table that has bread on it, showbread, it's hotep, so it's actually HTP. And this is the T sound. The triangle that you're looking at gives you the D sound. And the single reed leaf gives you I. So far you have a hotep de nisut, which means an offering which the king gives. And the reed leaf gives you the I sound. The water symbol gives you an N, and the mat gives you a P. So that's Anubis, or in the Egyptian language, Anpu. So this is saying Hotep de Nasut, an offering which the king gives to the god Anubis, or in the language of the hieroglyphs, Anpu. The head that you see in profile is Tep. It's how you say first, chief, or beginning. And the mat again gives you the P sound. So this literally is a title of Anubis, calling him the foremost chief. So it's Tep and then Tooth. That hill that you see gives you the T sound, and the F is the snake, and it's acting as a masculine pronoun. So it literally translates as an offering which the king gives to Anubis. He who sits And this is the reed leaf again, giving you the I or A. And then the cross gives you the M, and the chick gives you U. So it's Amut. He who sits upon his hill, that's Tep Tuf, upon his hill, Amut, embalmed in the chamber of mummification.
Y'all see what I'm talking about? See how he goes into it? Clear, precise, breaks it down crystal clear, without stumbling, without mumbling, without no. Go sit your ass down somewhere. This brother here is a clear teacher. And he is surpassing so many people that have been in the sa.neter. All right? So let's continue.
These are all titles of Anubis. Anubis is he who sits upon his hill, or Tep Tuf, and it says Amut, which literally means the dweller in the chamber of embalmment. What this is signifying here is extremely significant. The loaf that we're looking at here gives you the sound Neb, which is like Lord. And the symbol here with the two edges pointing down, that's Ta. That's the symbol for land. So it's actually calling Anubis the Lord of the land, or the Lord of the cemetery, because this is again a funerary scenery, so we're talking about the afterlife. The hill that you're looking at gives you the Q sound, and the R gives you the mouth gives you an R sound, and the loop gives you an S. This is QRS, or Christ. Why is that so significant? In Christianity, Christ is the one who prepares you for life eternal. In this funerary scene, Anubis is preparing the dead body for life eternal. The only difference is this scenery predates Christianity by almost 1,500 years.
See that?
So that means 1,500 years before Christianity is on the world scene, you have Anubis being described as the one who prepares you for life eternal.
See this breakdown, man? Nice, clear, and precise, where you can go and do your research and study it. Let's go on.
And obviously, this is the sepulcher, or the dead body, in the coffin or the sarcophagus, and it's referred to in the language of the hieroglyphs or the sa.neter as a sahu, which means the mummy. So again, this is an offering which the king gives to Anpu, or Hotep, De, Nasut, Anpu, Tep, Tuf, which means he who sits upon his hill. And then you have the reed leaf, which is the I, and then you have the cross, which is the M, and you have the quail chick, which gives you an U, and again you have the bread loaf, which gives you a T. So that's Amut, he who sits upon his hill, and then the word Amut, which means the dweller in the chamber of embalmment, because again, that's the funerary scene. And lastly, we see the hill, which gives you Q, and we see the mouth, which gives you R, and we see the loop, which gives you S. That's QRS, or Christ. In the Egyptian native language called sa.neter, but it was called by the Greeks hieroglyphics, the term Christ literally means the one who prepares you for life eternal, or the afterlife. So that later on in Christianity, the term Christ was applied to Jesus because he is also the one that prepares you for life eternal, or the afterlife.
He just showed us where all of that stuff come from, the Christ and all of that, right here on this wall of the sa.neter, where he breaking it down. No one has done that. Nobody done that. You know why? Because a lot of the Kemetic brothers are too arrogant. And I've asked them many times, I said, Shaka, do you think it's important, being that we talk about it, we have these discussions and debates? So I spoke to a lot of Israelite brothers, a lot of Kemetic brothers, and I asked them, do you think you should study the Hebrew? I ain't got to study that I ain't got to study that stuff. Yes, you do. Because you're supposed to study all things. Imagine if Zion said that. See, that's what makes him a great scholar. That's what makes Zion surpass a lot of people in the Kemetic community. Because now he got on his back. He took the time to study the meta-neter. And he already know the Hebrew fluently. Can you imagine? I'm not going to call Zion a Kemetic scholar yet. I'll give him another 2 to 3 years or 4 years, something like that, before he really break out and teach us some of the things that some people won't tell us. You know why? Because when you know the Hebrew, this is why it's important. When you know the Hebrew language and you connect the dots with the meta-neter, so that's why it's so easy for Zion to know it, because he knows the Hebrew. You see? He knows the Hebrew. And it's easier for him to learn it. So this brother, he gets an A+ in my book if I was to grade this. Here he is at the museum with Reggie. And the brother's doing this thing. There's a lot of people jealous of Zion. So the Kemetic community gets mad and get jealous at him because he don't supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be over there with the Hebrews. Why? Because you don't know it like him? Nah, he belongs here.
All the interesting things about this, like the decorations of their clothing, but this to say this definitively is having anything to do with the Hebrews. I have to be careful. Is well, we have to follow all leads, right? So I would say that to say that this is a biblical event, I would say that that's not. But what I would say is that it's important to study the peoples, right?
Could I add my impetus?
Of course.
All right, come on, Zion. Let's go in, man. Let's show the people how it's done, brother. A clear breakdown of our brother Zion Lexx. The way he breaks down the meta-neter. Let's go.
Let me say this.
Zion, you have a different opinion, right?
Absolutely.
I thought.
Okay, let me add my impetus to what we're looking at. It's critical that we talk about the chronology, right? It's the 12th dynasty. The 12th dynasty is the 1800s. The 1800s is about the time period of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. In the biblical narrative, with respect to Jacob's son Joseph,
that's why it's important to know the Hebrew. See? This is why Zion could connect the dots, because he see it all right there. Let's go.
The Bible says that Joseph comes into Egypt as a captive.
Yeah.
As a captive, he's enslaved. Then the Bible.
See, the other Kemetic scholars, they don't know the Hebrew. They don't really know the Torah. Zion is a master, a scholar in the Torah. So now it's easier for him to connect the dots with the Kemet side.
Says his brothers come later, but they don't come as captives, they don't come as slaves, but they come as simple foreigners and even bearing goods. Because in the biblical narrative, they're not coming empty-handed. They're coming with their family, they're coming with their livestock, similar to the scenery. And it's good that Brother Reggie said, this is not the full scenery. Because if you saw the full scenery, here there's a huge Egyptian official, and there's a record. So the Amu, or the Hit Kasut, are coming in, and they're also bearing trade goods. And what they're trading here is eye paint. That's what you see in the scenery here. Behind here, you see their wives and you see their children. So it is not definitive to say that's Joseph and these are his brothers, but it is definitive to say that this scenery is consistent with the biblical record. Within the time frame, the 12th dynasty, the 1800s, this is the era of the patriarchs. Joseph is said to have what? A coat of many colors. This is consistent with the record. So I like what Brother Reggie is saying insofar as definitively you're not going to say that this is Joseph and these are his brothers. But definitively looking at the scenery and interpreting the meta-neter, you can absolutely say that it's consistent with the biblical record, which is very important because you can see the kneeling captive wearing a white apron. So we know that the Egyptians had white paint.
So is it a possibility that maybe they could have plagiarized this scene
Who?
and put it in the Bible? You said no?
No.
Well, what happens is, well, the difference is lots of stories contribute.
So you can see how Zion clearly goes in and breaks this down. Excellent. Excellent teaching, brother.
Talking about a simple servant. You have to understand that this determinative is certainly indicative of what is described as a secular ankh.
Yeah, but you're saying that he is a servant for life.
Well, that is what secular ankh means.
Right. But but we're second ankh here. It's not here.
Right. But
So you're using a determinative. Let's see, a determinative can add to a word's meaning, right? So if I saw this at the end on the determinative of the word, then I can say it, but it's not there. So I can't say because like for example, these people are not prisoners.
no, they're not.
So,
Which is consistent with the
but
record.
it's identifying them as
Right.
this. So let's just leave this for now, and maybe we can go over it a little bit later, right?
I like to build with you, man. I have.
Okay, jump in.
I mean, this is the B'nai Hassan mural. If you ever go on a tomb, this little portion is just a mark. I mean, it's a huge place.
Yes.
And these particular individuals, I think they make up like a half of Israelite. Because I mean,
Yeah.
but
Can't
Eurocentric
touch it.
scholars.
They're gonna get us. So
This
don't
is the
touch
thing.
anything. Matter of fact, step back
Oh, I'm
because
sorry.
no. What happens is that when they come, that's what they use. Right? Go ahead.
Eurocentric scholars, when they was in search for the Hebrews in ancient Kemetic, they found the most white-looking European people they can find and say, aha, here's the Hebrews. So I like to build with Zion Lexx on that because I believe these people they say they are Amu, and the Amu come from the northern part of Syria.
Turkey.
Yeah, they from these people. These could like Indo-Europeans here.
Yes, they are.
So it kind of
They
takes
come from
it out of
Haran.
that concept of the Hebrew.
No, but see, there's all different groups
there's a lot of
intermingling.
different
So we can't say without information, without the.
On the throne, right? And as you're going to see when we go to Kemet, you can see the same phenotype, and we know they're not in the area.
Okay.
This
Well,
is
the
not-
whole point of it is, listen. What we want to do is have a scholarly conversation and. But these are the people. These are the people who decimated.
Kemet's sway went as far as the Levant.
What I was articulating, it's what I was trying to do lightly, because I'm not coming here to do a whole lot of back and forth. The difference is they invaded Kemet, had Kemet for a while, and then were pushed out, not just because of Kemet, but because of other empires wanting to come in.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Once Assyria took over Egypt, Egypt was never the same again.
Egypt was never completely the same. Other invaders came in.
Completely.
Right.
That was the end of the greatness of Egypt when Assyria came in, brother.
They never
They never recovered.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna need Zion to come in to really break this thing down and give us the correct teaching, the way Zion do it. Because I like the way he breaks it down clearly so we can all understand.
They take the people of Kemet and then they import. They take the people of Kemet.
They would conquer a people.
Matter is,
Into-
yes. Then
speak of the Assyrian culture in part because it mimics several things taught in the Bible. For instance, this is a remnant of the tree of life, the Eitz Chaim. It's also over there. He's holding a cone in his hand, which he's taken from his pouch. That's symbolic of the pineal gland.
See how he goes more in depth? See how he breaks down every little thing that you see? This is why I say Zion has surpassed a lot of Kemetic so-called teachers. He's very articulate. Thank you, James. Right, let's go.
He's now taking the cone, the pineal gland, and he's presenting it to the tree of life. People in Kemet can't do this kind of research because most people that study Kemet don't understand their Eastern culture.
And the pose that you can find Horus and all type of Egyptian neter.
Watch this.
In the same position. As
Watch this. This man right here, this man right here, I want everybody to notice something, all right? You see his wings? Obviously, this is not a human being. So this is a mythical scene. This man is supposed to represent who the Assyrians call Ashur, A-S-H-U-R. That is the parallel to Kemet's Asar. Same exact thing. Because in the Hebrew language or in the Semitic languages, the shin and the sin are interchangeable, the SH and the S. So in Kemet, they say Asar, but in Assyria, they say Asur. Yeah. But they are worshipped the same. You can find the same emblems. You can find the same culture. So if we're not talking about this.
See, Zion is on a whole different level. It's time for the younger ones to come up and step up now. He's on a whole different level with it when he comes with it. You see?
This aspect of it, we're missing so much.
And this is a biblical character in the Bible named Asur.
Okay, so can I have the mic?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, look,
Like completely distinct in Mesopotamia. What if they have a common ancestor and the three of them are witness to the same phenomenon? No one is plagiarizing from the other. There's a common ancestor from which these traditions come down, and they all inherit them. Hence why they're all able to tell the same stories. Right. It is a child's mentality to automatically assume that because me and you have the same story and you told your story first, I plagiarized from you. Right. What about the idea that we may have a common ancestor that passed these traditions down that we all are privy to?
that's fine.
And that's the Ethiopian.
No.
Like
That's
you agree
fine.
with that, right,
This is that it's fine to make. I challenge you.
Culture. Remember, the Assyrians don't come on the scene until after the 700s. This is long after the rich empires of Sumer and Akkadian. So if I was to look at Kemet, in the 8th century and 7th century, if I was to look at Kemet in the 8th and 7th century and judge the overall culture based on what I see there, that would be a horrible thing to do. So you can't look at here to see that. Now, he said something that was important. He said African culture venerates the woman, and you don't see that here. And he's right, because by the time you get to the 8th century, by the time you get to the Assyrians, you do not see that because they have lost much of their way. But ask Brother Reggie this question. Do you know who Enheduanna is?
Oh, what is the Sumerian female deity?
She is the daughter of Sargon I. She is a priestess. Before Kemet even has a priestess, there's a priestess in Sumer known as Enheduanna, the daughter of Sargon the Great.
And which text? Wait 1 second. So, okay. So you're saying before there's a priest in Kemet?
No. Before there's a priestess.
Before there's a priest.
Before there's any priestess in Kemet, you have Enheduanna. She's also.
What's the date?
I'm giving you the date. 2300 BC.
2300 BC. 23. Remember that.
2300 BC.
2300 BC is the first time that you find.
Is the earliest priestess in the world. And watch this. I'm going to add something to this because he can't trace me on this. She's also the world's oldest author in the sense that she's the first one to add her autograph to any literary work.
Here's the thing. So we're in this culture, right? I just want you to guess here. I know.
How you are.
Another
Watch
period.
This
Mesopotamian community. Yeah, I'm saying that there's
a culture which is so far away can impact Kemet. How is it not possible that a culture which is contemporary with her and much closer to her cannot have an impact as well? The Congo region, the Great Lakes region, remember Africa is huge, right? I have the kilometers in my phone that I can actually tell you the actual difference. The Congo region is so much further from Kemet than Kemet is from Sumer. So if it is a fact that Kemet can get her culture from such a far away culture, how is it not possible that she can also have elements of her culture from a more closer culture?
Can I have the mic? Okay, so what all I'm just trying.
Yes, but there's not enough context given.
Okay.
And rightfully so, because you don't understand.
No, because I don't have to, because I'm not here to do all of that.
But if you're going to explain it, you have
But they
to
are,
be
can
able
I
to.
sense, can I simply say that these are ancient Canaanite gods without putting any anything unnecessary in?
I tell you why I even added my impetus. When you came here, you said, these are the Canaanite gods, these are deities, and you even said Yahweh. You know that Yahweh is the chief deity, as it were, of the children of Israel. The people of Canaan spoke the same language as the Hebrews. So yes, they have a quote-unquote God called El.
Teach, Zion. See that? We've been too arrogant to teach, to study all the other stuff, the Canaanites and all the other stuff. So now that's why you can't compare the two. See, Zion he sees it. He studied the Canaanites. He studied Sumer. He studied Israel. He studied the Hebrew. And now he's studying the sa.neter. And so that's why I say he is the most clear and precise teacher. Not the best one, but I'm saying when it comes to a lot of other Kemetic teachers, he surpassed them by far. And of course, I'm not saying my brother Asa.neter, Jonathan Owens, they still at the top of their game to me. But a lot of other ones, he surpassed them by far because he knows how to break it down. And some people will even get mad and get jealous and think that, you know, yo, listen, you're still in the limelight from me. You're still in the shine from me, bro. I don't want you to talk. I don't need you talking on this talk.
But they also speak the same language.
But you took me out of context. I said until Yahweh came, Yahweh became the chief God in that religious context, right? But in the context of, but it became the chief as far as world history is concerned, as far as today, all right? So let's right. So what I'm just trying to say is I'm just showing the elements for the family simply of the evidence that this museum has without the big fights. I'm not here to fight you, but you want to fight me on every step on simple things. On simple things.
Because there are many people that are worshipped, or many deities worshipped in Canaan that can be found in Egypt. Likewise, there were Canaanite deities that were worshipped in Kemet. These are the conversations that no one is talking about, because more people are interested in having.
See that? These are the conversations that nobody's talking about. Nobody talking about that. That's what makes Zion by far a better teacher, because he combined the Hebrew and the sa.neter, and now he sees where it all plays out at. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody.
It sits on the African tectonic plate. Having said that, Israel also enjoys the same culture that you can see on the continent of Africa. When it comes to the mythology, this is the very reason why we argue about whether or not the Bible stories come from Kemet versus whether it is our own story, because of the fact that the cultures are so similar. So to separate Canaan from Africa, knowing that it is culturally related, hence why we even argue over plagiarism. It is even lineage-wise related, because there are many people that are worshipped, or many deities worshipped in Canaan that can be found in Egypt. Likewise, there were Canaanite deities that were worshipped in Kemet. These are the conversations that no one is talking about, because more people are interested in having a linear, and I'm not saying you, Brother Reggie, because I give you one of the highest respects, so this is not directly to you, but most people, as you know, are very linear when it comes to Kemet.
So what I'm just trying to simply say is that
Muhammad,
and you can use the people's story is an actual
not all of
living family, right? Okay. So here's the thing. Stay for 1 second.
Of knowledge. This is my area.
Own thoughts and their own spiritual things, but what we're doing is we're looking for the artifacts simply to find it. Because
let me say this before
here you go.
we move on.
I gotta go to the I gotta go to the museum with Zion. Me and his brother gotta go. Me and his brother definitely gotta go, because I want him to go in where nobody can stop him, nobody breaks him, nobody try to challenge him out there. I just want him to flow.
I'm gonna leave, and the reason why I'm gonna leave is because, and I'm gonna say this in the spirit.
See, he's leaving now because as people started getting mad and getting jealous, that he knows what he know. So he don't want to mess up the thing. He just say, you know what, I want to leave, man. I'm gonna leave. I thought it's supposed to be a build together, but because Zion have evolved so much and elevated so much in the metal nature, other people tends to get mad and jealous and upset.
That I feel it. Reggie cannot deal with me in this area of knowledge. This is my area. Reggie is not capable at this moment in time of going into great detail in Mesopotamia. I know I can go greater in Kemet than Reggie can go in Mesopotamia, which is our opposite skill sets. I didn't know that Reggie wasn't aware that I was coming. And Reggie is somebody that I call a saber, a teacher. I respect him. And I don't want to make him feel like I'm ruining his tour. But I will tell you that I challenge you, since we are in the museum, if you want to wait, when you finish this tour, I could give you this work in any room you want to go in, especially Kemet.
Okay.
And with that, family, damn, people started getting jealous and mad. But let's go to Zion, man, where he's going a little more deep, where I brought him in, sat him down, and gave him this topic.
You're now tuned into the best, the house of consciousness. On Black News 102. You can't front, you've grew. Sa.neter studio is for them that truly know. Sa.neter TV too, bringing real talk to me and you.
Are the Hebrews really Canaanites?
Oh, man.
Yeah, because we dealt with the Summa. I think you really dropped it on that, and that's going to be powerful. That's going to be downloaded in the records. Now let's talk about this here. Are the Hebrews really Canaanites?
I heard Brother Garfield say this, and I don't like to use this term, but I think it's silly. I think it's silly, and to use the words of Brother Jabari, and this lets me know Brother Jabari is going to have a field day with Brother Garfield. Because as much as Brother Garfield has grown, there's still a great deal of sloppiness to his scholarship. It's extremely sloppy to say that Canaanites are the original Hebrews. You know why, sa.neter?
Why? What you gonna pull out, man? This shows you that this brother's serious about his scholarship.
All right, I'll find it. It's somewhere here. There are a series of letters that were written by Canaanite kings to the Egyptian kings. These are known as the Amarna letters, Brother sa.neter. These letters are being recorded about roughly 1300 BCE, okay? In these letters, in the Amarna period, Canaanite kings are writing to the Nisut in Egypt, the king in Egypt, telling him that the Hebrews, who you just released, are now coming into Canaan, and they are taking the king's territory. At that time, Egypt ruled Canaan. We need you to send archers. We need you to send warmen. The Hebrews are taking over. If the Hebrews are Canaanite, Brother sa.neter, why are the Canaanites speaking about them like they're different from them? Why are the Canaanites not calling them my brothers? Why are they calling them Hebrews and not Canaanites? In fact, sa.neter, by default, the Amarna letters becomes proof of part of the Exodus. Because in the Amarna letters, the Canaanite kings say to the Pharaoh, the Hebrews that just came out of Egypt are now entering Canaan. I thought the Hebrews wasn't in Egypt, brother. The Amarna letters is historical, sa.neter. You could pull it up right now. And it was given to the Nisut that sat on the throne in ancient Kemet. And he saw this. And he sent back and he told them, you got to war it out on your own. I can't help you with this one. But sa.neter, he never said to them, who are these Hebrews you spoke about? Hebrews never was in Egypt. Sa.neter, he doesn't say, who are these Hebrews? I never heard of them. The Hebrews was in Egypt, sa.neter. The Amarna letters are proof of it. Because as the Canaanites are writing to them, the Pharaoh or the Nisut doesn't send back word and say, I never heard of them. What are you talking about?
So in Garfield's book, I think he really believes that he found the jewel, and I think this might be documented in his book. If these writings are in Garfield's book calling the Hebrews the real Canaanites, then that means his book probably already got flaws in it. Y'all gonna have a field day with this book.
His book is already flawed. Garfield is telling people now, because of the coronavirus, that his book has been pushed back. Hopefully what I'm saying here today is going to push it back even further, because he got to take a lot of stuff out of his book. It is so sloppy to say that Hebrews are Canaanites when we have historical records in Kemet right now on display at the Cairo Museum has the Armana tablets. And while we're talking about the Armana tablets, Brother sa.neter, do you know that the writing inscribed on the Armana tablets is in cuneiform? If the sa.neter is where everyone learns language from, why are not they communicating in sa.neter? In fact, if sa.neter is the lingua franca, the language that all of the nations would have known, because remember, according to some historians in the Afrocentric community, everybody's language comes from the sa.neter. So if that's the case, why are the Canaanites not only not writing in Hebrew or Phoenician script, they're writing in the Akkadian language, utilizing cuneiform script. That is the language on the Armana tablets. The language on the Armana tablets is Akkadian, and they're writing it through the cuneiform script, which means, sa.neter, the Nisut sitting on the throne can read cuneiform, which shows you, sa.neter, during the New Kingdom period, cuneiform was still the lingua franca of the world. Cuneiform was given to us by the Sumerians. The Sumerians left, sa.neter, in 2300 BC. But their stamp, which is writing, is still the lingua franca of the world, because all the way from Old Kingdom Egypt to New Kingdom Egypt, it's still being used as the lingua franca, the language of the day.
Who built the pyramids, the Sumerians or the Kemetic people?
This is an interesting question.
Or the Hebrews? Uh-oh. This is crazy, what y'all about to hear. I asked them, who built the pyramids? The Kemetic people? The Sumerians? Let me go back to that. Let's listen.
Kingdom Egypt to New Kingdom Egypt, it's still being used as the lingua franca, the language of the day.
Who built the pyramids, the Sumerians or the Kemetic people?
This is an interesting question.
Or the Hebrews?
This is an interesting question that I approached during my dialogue with Shaka. Now, I definitely have gone back to the drawing board, as it were, to look at things a little differently, and I want to say a little bit more objectively. I don't think that Hebrews built the pyramids. I certainly don't believe that the engineer of the pyramids to be Kemetic, because I have to say this, when you look at the quote-unquote...
Now, check this out. Remember last week, I brought this out. I was asking Smash Rockwell, and we had a build on that. And I was talking about, I feel different about Kemetic people building these pyramids because of the majesty, because of how deep it was and how deep they go underground and where was the tools they used. Zion is saying the same thing. Now, this was about 2 years ago. Zion is saying the same thing, but in a different breakdown, the way he going in on it. Check it out.
World, because all the way from Old Kingdom Egypt to New Kingdom Egypt, it's still being used as the lingua franca, the language of the day.
Who built the pyramids, the Sumerians or the Kemetic people?
This is an interesting question.
Or the Hebrews?
This is an interesting question that I approached during my dialogue with Shaka. Now, I definitely have gone back to the drawing board, as it were, to look at things a little differently, and I want to say a little bit more objectively. I don't think that Hebrews built the pyramids. I certainly don't believe that the engineer of the pyramids to be Kemetic, because I have to say this. When you look at the quote-unquote Kemetic record, the Egyptian priest Manetho tells you that the one who was the foreman, the overseer of the building of the pyramids, he said was a shepherd, and it was a foreigner. This is in the writings of Manetho. These writings survive today in the works of Josephus. If you want to read about the works of Manetho, which is one of the last Kemetic priests. Manetho was a priest in Egypt, but he was a priest during the period of the Greco-Roman rule. And he was commissioned by them to write a history of the world. And he gives a history of his own people. And he says, when he comes up to the construction of the pyramids, he says that it was a shepherd, it was a foreigner, it was not a native Egyptian. So if it was a shepherd, sa.neter, and the Egyptians always said the Asiatics are shepherds, well, we may not know which group of Asiatics built it, but we certainly can't say the Kemetics built it. The people of Kemet built it when Manetho tells you we did not. It was engineered by a foreigner. It was engineered by a foreign mind, someone who was not aboriginal to Kemet. Very significant.
So who would this foreigner be, though, brother? Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Something subhuman. Something that is not even human. Like us, I'm saying. Because when you really look at it and see how deep the Great Pyramid goes, nobody can explain it. Nobody was there to see it. That's why they call it one of the wonders of God. Nobody really seen it, man. To cut those boulders precise, to cut it. Now, of course, we would love to say, man, our people did it, the Egyptians did it. But where are the tools at? Where can we find the tools? Check. Now, what happened is, I'm saying my theory is a group of people started coming around, living around that, and creating myth around the pyramids. And they've been there for thousands of years. And so now they begin to claim it, the Kemetic people. But something built them pyramids. I don't know. I'm still lost, y'all. Until we could find concrete evidence. Until you could show me some concrete tools that can cut boulders and rocks that weighs 5 tons, 2.5 tons, one boulder. How did you get it there? How did you get it on that land? See, none of us is thinking about that. Come on, man. I'm thinking. I mean, anybody could tell us anything nowadays because we are in search of greatness for our people. I mean, I don't take that from nobody. We're looking for greatness. We want to be a part of greatness. So maybe I could bring that to Jabari tonight. I'm supposed to have Jabari and Brother Reginald, the one that took on Elder Yara. I'm supposed to have them two tonight. And hopefully I'll get Smash up in here. But Smash tried it, and Smash failed. Smash failed when I was asking these questions. Did y'all see that? I should call Asar to get Asar up in here. People built them structures. Okay. Don't just say it. We've been saying that for a long time. Prove it, brother. Prove it. And we can't build it today with all the technology that we have. Uh-oh, here go Asar. Asar, let me drop the link. I need you to answer some questions, brother. You got to come in here and answer some of these questions, Asar. So you got to Google the land of stone moves. Okay. Y'all got to show it to me. Show me. Come on, Neil Spike. Come on in here. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Okay, you can move the stones. How did you cut them? How did you cut them? Right and exact. Man, Assad not scared. Assad jumped in here right away. So
I know I get busy.
Talk to me, Assad, man, because I'm a little perplexed now. Perplexed, man. How deep do the pyramids go? The Great Pyramid.
They go pretty deep. And
how deep? Roundabout.
They're finding right now, they're finding
800 feet, 800?
I don't know about 800 because they found a river or some water underneath them. And you know, my partners live right there. They got a shop right underneath the Heru and Marquette, the Sphinx. What's up, my brother Neil? So when I went over there, and the next time I go over there, if you guys really want to know, we can go under there. We can go take a trip. We can take a trip and we can really, really find out if y'all want to know. But I would say that and Zion knows some of these things. There's a record of the Egyptians building the pyramids, building some of these structures. They're getting tipsy. They're getting fired from work and stuff like that. So the slavery narrative would fall apart. And I think he recognized that in his studies. But we touched on something the other day with the children of Israel, and I didn't get a chance to really finish it, where we pointed out some Egyptians in the Israelite camps. And there's some pieces that our brother didn't want to touch on, which we could touch on in a few, just to kind of clear some things up about the Egyptians being in the camp and the supposed men of war dying off.
Yes. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me share my screen real quick.
Yeah.
Brother Neil, give me 2 hot seconds.
But I'm not talking about the Israelites, brother. I'm talking about them pyramids.
In pyramids, they say Khufu Khafre, which would mean around the time of the Djoser, which would mean Imhotep might have had a hand.
But I asked you, how deep does it go, though? See,
how far under the ground?
Yes.
I don't know how deep under the ground
it goes. It goes deep, man. They go deep. So can you imagine? And the people was about littler than us. They were like midgets.
Yes.
Brother, the Kemetic people.
They Congolese.
Right. See what I'm
and
saying?
they quads, and they little. And people, when you try to make that connection, the people, the unstudied, the unlearned will say, no, that they have nothing to do with the Africans of blah, 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 blah. But it's clear that like Congolese have the same, especially in the early times, the Twas and stuff that they had contact with, they're all real little. They all have the same funeral procession. When the king passes away, whoever was in his cabinet is going in there alive and dying with him. Same thing that we did in the Congo.
Well, I'm gonna say that something greater than humans built that, man. Until y'all can show me otherwise. Right now, I'm gonna stick with my theory, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna just use the word that we all are familiar with and say aliens.
See, I'm about to debunk you
from outer space.
Now.
Something out of space came in, and built them pyramids, brother.
I got to debunk my brother Sa right now with that.
Yeah.
So I'm about to pull up one of the pyramid or one of the stelas that shows how things of this nature were built. And so we're gonna, here it is right here. So here, this is the other rendition of it. I have the real one too, but this is just to keep it simple. This is the statue of Memnon. The statue is 820 tons. Weighs well more than any pyramid ever built, right? So, And any block, so say they kept moving blocks, those blocks would be easy to move in comparison to the size of this statue. Now, here in the front, you see the gentleman pouring water right in front. And this is to keep the sand moist. This is to keep the statue secure while they're pulling it. And I believe it's 100,000, I think, was the count we had when we looked at the actual picture. But this is how it was done. You rope it, you drag it, you pull it, you keep watch. And here you got the brothers in the front pulling this. If the statue of Memnon can be pulled by this many men, wetting the front, this gentleman here also should have water in his hand. This one does. Pouring, just wetting the sand just a little bit on these giant sleds, which right next to the pyramid, you see these giant sled localities where they would have pulled stuff up. So you still got some remnants of them being able to do this. These giant sleds are how it was done. And this is what it is. And if I go into, let me see if I can bring up the real picture for y'all real quick. Just so
Hey,
y'all
sorry,
can
why you doing that? Why you doing that? You can, because I don't know how to share.
There it is. So this is the real picture here. You can see the sled here. You can see him pouring the water. You can see him directing and pouring water. Now the top of Memnon is damaged now. I believe it's in a different museum. And this is them painting their
All right,
sled
hold on. Where's the sled? Where's the sled?
right here. See this brown piece at the bottom?
Yeah.
That's the sled.
And why are you showing me that?
Because this is how they move Memnon. This is the actual tomb that is in.
So you saying that they had ropes and they was pulling it like a bunch of men?
Yes. And here are the paintings of themselves right here. So we can see who they are right here. We can see how they depicted themselves. So Hebrews, are you saying this is you? Are these the black Hebrews who did it?
No. Well, Zion said he don't believe the Hebrews built the pyramids. So he did.
Zion is smarter than that, but me and you know the argument. They be like, Hebrews, they was a slave. Is this y'all? Is this y'all in the mix? Wearing all these.
Hold on. That sled, they got the thing on top of the sled right now, right?
Yup.
Yeah, I see it. I'm looking at it now. They got it on top of the sled. You know how much that weighs, brother?
Say that one more time.
Do you know how much that weighs?
820 tons.
Think about that.
Yeah.
820 tons, bro? Oh, come on, Asal. And you really believe
the power. Bro,
you really believe some midgets drag that joint all the way across the
power of nature.
Come on, Asal. We gotta do better than this, brother.
Wait, Asar, please help me out. So you know how to shit. What about the movement of the coral island stones? How did they move?
Well, you have the diary of one of the men who was moving some of the pyramid stones himself. So he tells you where he goes to get it. They go down to Aswan, and I think he takes a trip to Nubia. And he confirms what we see. He said they moved it across the land on the sled, because if you damage some of the stone, when you set them together, they'll fall. So it had to be done perfectly, which is why the sled is used in the first place. So he's telling you in his diary how this is done. So it's very important to take those types of notes and know that here's the white guys that they keep talking about in ancient Egypt. This is all of them, all these white guys here. These are the builders. This is who built it. Some of them have feathers in their head because there's no Nubians supposedly there. There's none of that supposedly. But these are your brothers right here getting busy. Recorders. Let me see if I can find that diary real fast for y'all. Let me see. The diary is very important because he walks you down the process of building the pyramid. And he tells you his day-to-day workings while it happens. And we won't play it, but it's on YouTube. Hey, just read it. Let me see.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yup, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yup.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Okay, so I wanted to ask Asar. Asar, you know, on the island of Philae, where the Temple of Isis is, they had the process of making the stones from a liquid form. This is what Quasi brought back.
Correct. Which, like I said, which is important why they use those sleds, because if any part of that pyramid is damaged, it will fall. It will fall. There'll be issues and it'll have compromises. You'll see cracks. But you can see me climbing the pyramid, right? So some of us talk about it. I was there, right? I climbed the pyramid myself. So I got to test it for y'all to make sure that what they said is true. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you something just in case you got
reality. You got to turn on the camera. I don't know who you are. I got to see who you are.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm going to show you guys something real quick, just so you can go see for yourself the building, or you can get the diary yourself so you can hear the brother explain. Let me present again. Let me see. Share screen. Share. And let me take you here. This is the diary of the pyramid builder right here. This is if you put this in, diary of a pyramid laborer, oldest papyrus discovered 2550 BC, diary of Merer. This is a primary source. Put that in, and you're going to end up getting mute, pause. We just want to see Merer real quick.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling you where they go to.
Where do they go? Where do they go to get them boulders and them bricks?
Limestone, way down here in Torah. Here go Torah right here.
Now, where do they go, brother?
They in Nubia. They in Abyssinia, Nubia.
You know how far Nubia is to where the Great Pyramid is, brother? Do you know how the distance of that?
Oh yeah.
You got to get on the plane.
You got to get on the boat. You got to get on the boat.
Plane.
Well, they ain't have planes back then, but the so-called claim that
that's why I'm saying. But see, now you see why I'm having the second doubts. You might know it already because you're more advanced than me. But this is why I'm having these doubts, brother. They got to go all the way to Nubia to get these big boulders and bring them all the way back to Kemet. Like,
you don't believe in your people.
Say that again.
How you been standing on the street corner telling people how great we are, and you don't believe in your people now?
I'm still gonna say how great we are, but I'm saying I'm just having second thoughts, and I see a boat right there. But if you put one of them stones on that boat is sinking, brother.
No.
Surprisingly not. If you're talking about it weigh 800 tons, it's sinking.
Surprisingly not.
Nah, brother. That's why when you see a big boat, what do? They throw the ink in the water so it can't move because the ink automatically sinks.
The anchor.
Anchor.
So here they go here when it's in its liquefied form. Artificial lake at the entrance and all that. This is them getting busy. This your people, Sa.
I feel you.
I'm your people now.
I'm just like a little. I'm trying to find the truth. That's all I'm interested in right now.
Now, some of these boulders are only 2 tons.
Okay.
Some of them are not as heavy as proclaimed, right? So you could just kind of see what they carved out. Where's another piece here? And this is so you guys can look at them. They're building. It's going down. Brick and mortar
Yeah,
style.
because why wouldn't they show those extraterrestrials if they were one? There's none. I mean, they're showing process.
Because they can't.
What's the big
Listen, the reason they can't show it because they never came in contact with it.
Now I'm gonna go
So it
to
was
my
already there.
channel.
I said, oh.
I'm gonna go to my channel and I'm gonna climb the pyramid for you.
Oh,
I'm gonna climb the pyramid. I'm gonna walk up the pyramid for you.
Let me bring on the Queen, Miss Nepal Siddha, in the building. Nepal, you got a question, Queen?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Peace to the panel and the audience. I'm having some hay fever, so don't mind my voice, okay? The allergies. But I just wanted to bring up, you were asking how deep that the structure is underneath the pyramid.
Yeah.
They found it's like over 2 kilometers. That's 6,600 feet.
Ooh, damn.
Like almost 7,000 feet. And then it's like got a span of like 2,000 to 3,000 feet in like wide, you know, like in the square footage. So now we're not just going to have like this phenomenon about like how heavy these bricks were, but now the depth of the structure, you know, what did they use? How long did it take them to dig that? I'm talking about human beings. I mean, you know, whether they were, I don't think they, like, I agree with Zion. And I'm more leaning toward sa.neter, what he says, and everybody else is too. What type of...
Real quick, I'm sorry to cut you off, baby, but just real quick. And I mean, y'all might get surprised when I say this, but I'm leaning a little bit towards apostle as well. I'm leaning towards apostle, y'all. This is the first time y'all hear me saying I'm starting to agree a little bit with apostle. Go ahead, Nepal. I'm sorry, babe.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to say that. That's all.
Oh, you finished?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm done. But yeah, that's it. I just want to mention that. Okay, I'll keep listening.
All right. Hold up, apostle.
I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Go ahead,
I'm here, right?
I see you.
Right next to it. And most of these rocks, they're not really as big as they claim, yo. Like the rocks are just not as big as they claim. What they are several put in places, right? But look at these, look at the pyramid. Look at what I'm next to. Now I had to stand on the side of this and climb on the camel, but my partner challenged me to climb up. I climbed up about right here.
That's what? How far is that? That's about what?
That's about a third up. Yeah, that's about a third up right there. That's like a 3-story building. So they was like, get down, because the state. I pointed at one of the state dudes. He's like, oh brother, please come down. I'm like, all right, I'm coming. So these boats, they're not that big. It's like a bunch of them that they put together in place, and then it stacks up. Some of them are 2 tons, but the majority of these are not huge like that. And you can see right there. You can just see that these aren't the biggest boulders in the world. They're not the biggest rocks in the world, as some would claim. And so to create it or to climb up it is not such a difficult job, I don't believe. This is a matter of going, seeing, venturing, and then hearing people tell you this, and then actually seeing what it is when you're there.
Okay,
all right.
Not a sorrow. Hey, Sa.
Yes, go ahead.
Sa, want to ask you this. The question that you would have to ask and give us the people the answer to is, why, if we weren't there, why would they carve an African face on the Haramaki?
He's
Some
talking about the
people,
Sphinx, the Heru, and my cat.
some people say that's the face of a woman.
Okay, but it's still an African woman.
You would have to ask whoever carved it. I can't tell you why they did it. Real talk. Hey, Apostle, unmute yourself. Talk to me, Apostle. Apostle, unmute yourself.
I was going to find the tape. I found it.
All right.
I got the excerpt. I think it's around 11 minutes, 10 seconds, 11 minutes, 8 seconds.
All right. Play something and break it down. Play it, break it down, stop it.
Huh?
I said, play some of it, stop it, and break it down. Like,
Yeah, let me explain right now. They got a tractor. And they tried to have a tractor to move one of those stones. And they had the tractor's front feet up in the air.
Damn.
The bulldozer couldn't move it.
Nope.
The bulldozer could not move it. They
That was
took
the Japanese.
one of those cranes and put a chain around it. It popped the chain.
Damn,
Then
look at that.
Then they showed the ropes that the Egyptians used. Nowhere in the hell, if a chain that thick could not move that rock. You're not going to move it with a rope. Twine. That's twined together. It ain't going to happen.
Watch
I'm going
this,
to show it to you.
Watch this, sir. You praying to the wrong God, Apostle. That's why. You need the right God to move that type of stone. You know that, brother.
I just know who God is. That's
apparently not. You couldn't move the stone, but we can move the stone. You need to be able to move the stone. Talk to your God so you can move the stone, brother.
See how you go? Man can't move the stone. God can.
See, this is
God one that put it in place.
Right now, I'm thinking of aliens now, man. Can you prove it? No, I can't prove it. But I damn sure don't believe that it was humans that did that. And Apostle, my brother Asar said that the stones came from where again? Where again?
They show that.
Anubis, all that.
Anubis. You know how far that is? Apostle.
Right.
But also, can I say this? No, let me jump in since also some of those stones are up to 70 tons.
Yes.
You know how much 70 tons is?
Yeah.
7 tons is 14,000 pounds. So 70 tons would be 140,000 pounds, right?
Yes. In fact, that's why I pointed out the weight of that Memnon statue. The Memnon statue is 820 tons.
When you say the Memnon statue, you're talking about the Sphinx?
Memnon statue, when you come into one of the ports of Kemet, it has two giant statues.
Okay.
Of one of the kings. And as you come into the port, you see those, and that used to scare some of the people who weren't, from the area. They like, oh my gosh, are there giants here? And so they would go into the port, which is circular, and then they would come into that port. The Egyptians would greet you, meet you, and then they would walk you somewhere, and then you could start your trade. So if you pull up the Memnon statues, it's like 820 tons a piece. It's like I believe there was 4 of them. 2 are still physically there somewhat, just their faces and tops are torn off.
But were they constructed, or they didn't move them all in one piece?
Yeah, we just went to the tomb to show you how they moved those on the big sled. Now, when you look at the Memnon statue, you can see that it's in portions inside the middle. Like you can see the different rocks that make up the body, but the total weight is here. Let me share my picture again in case y'all are unfamiliar with the Memnon statues, just so y'all can see.
I definitely did know it. So
they when they move these statues here, this is just a picture. Memnon's colossi, in case y'all never seen them before. These are still there. The two massive statues of
And where are
Amenhotep.
they located?
These are, where are the Memnon statues at? These are Amenhotep the Thirds. So probably by where's that? Luxor. Yeah, Luxor is where they're at. So you'll still see these when you go visit Luxor. And they used to have a huge like water port over there. I'm trying to see if there's where you can see that water port that's behind it. Remember, the Asians came over and moved a lot of the temple of I think it's Luxor over to a different location after the dam was built. Otherwise, it'd be flooded. They called it a miracle of engineering. It's one of the
Abu
miracles
symbol.
of engineering.
It's called Abu symbol.
Abusa?
No, Abu symbol. SIMBEL.
Oh, Abu symbol.
Abu symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I want to ask you, Asar, when the elephant in the room still is the liquid making stones, the formula how to make the limestone stones that big out of liquid on the island of Philae. That's still the elephant in the room. And the other elephant is the coral rocks that was moved on Coral Island by the dude. Is that pseudo or is that real? Did he move them stones?
Well, the liquid limestone is what they poured down each side of the pyramid to make it glow white. So remember, the rock that you're seeing is the undercovering. Each side of the pyramid glowed, and it was white, and it had the capstone at the top, glowing in white, and it's basically limestone poured down the whole side of it. So I'm not sure what you read that said liquid rock took place, but liquid limestone, yes, that's what they mixed in elephantine and philae, and they would pour it down the side. Now, the Greeks said that it was so shiny and bright, you could see it from their locality.
Okay.
Wherever they were standing.
The capstone is in the museum. It's charcoal black. I heard it was the pyramids like an eye. Like the eyes are white on the side with the black stone as the
They took it off.
iris.
Yeah. The top may have been a black stone on one of them, but most of them were white all the way down.
Okay. And
now remember,
you just give me the coral island movement of the stone.
Well, remember Mosque Mariam, the Prophet Muhammad's mosque of Islam, took the gold off of the pyramids and other items and made Mosque Mariam's top with that. So they tell you that, and that's where they got the gold from.
All right. Hey, hold on. I'm gonna bring Silky in. Here is my theory. Like I said, until somebody else can prove and show me something else, I'll ride with them. I know we want to believe that we did something great, and I feel you on that. I'm with you on that, man. But we should also want the truth. So, knowledge is power, right? Absolutely. And so my thing is that those pyramids and all of that stuff was built already by superhumans. By superhumans. You can laugh, brother. By superhumans. And what happened is those people came into that area and became adapted to it, and they lived around it. Now, they could have, I would give the people of the Kemetic people the writing, because you can grab something and carve something out. We did that all the time on the stones. So you can carve something out and write the sa.neter or something like that. But as far as, look at, for example, let me show you this. I got to show you this example right here. This is deep right here. Watch this, Asar. Watch this, Asar. I'm going to grab one. Here you go right here. Let me show you this. How come none of y'all show me that? Asar, I challenge you to show me the tools that they were using to
build.
No, not to build. Damn,
to cut.
Going there.
You want that cutting tool that they use to
yeah. Watch this right here. Look. Hold on, brother. Here we go.
Go ahead.
Look at this right here. Who are they, Asar? Who are they? Look how big that is. Look at the people down there.
Yeah.
How were they able to cut them stones like that? The arm and the head and the eyes and everything is right on point. How were they able to do that? Where's the tool that they did it with?
That's the greatness of the black.
Come on, man. See, that's all. See, that's what you got.
Hold up,
Because you don't have no answer, bro.
That's the greatness of the black man.
Oh,
Now, I know
man.
the tools that they use
What
because
is
you
the
see
Masonic
system.
secret, Sa? What is the Masonic temple secret?
Nah, brother, I ain't going for that. I'm not going for none of that, brother. I'm trying to get some real stuff here, brother. How were they able to do that? And then put them up there. Where's they? Now I ain't gonna ask where the ladders, because they can make stuff. They can do
How did
that.
they breathe 20,000 feet under the pyramid and build those cities?
There you go. See, Apostle has even talking about how
So-
deep the pyramids go.
So don't forget they had the copper drills and saws.
No. I'm
They
saying,
said
what did they use to breathe with? 20,000 feet under.
20,000 feet under. Show
2,000
that.
feet.
Show what.
2,000 feet
Show
under.
something
The
20,000
pyramid.
feet under.
2,000. He said 2,000 feet.
2,000 feet under. They got a city
He don't
there.
went further than the deepest hole.
It's 2 miles down. It's like a little over 2 miles.
They said you can take 3 Empire State Buildings, stack them up, and it won't be deep enough.
You're right, Apostle. Right, they did say, and they also
yeah.
said it would be the tallest building on earth if it was to be measured from the bottom to the top.
It's like a little over 2 miles. It's a little over 2 miles down.
Go, you can't hardly breathe 60 feet down, brother.
Apostle,
When
what
you
if they
get
did
down in that ground, you can't hardly breathe. What are you talking about?
Wait a minute, Asar. Wait a minute, Asar. Wait a minute, Apostle. If you,
Let them go down there and
I'm
do some
not
work.
arguing. I'm not arguing with you, Apostle. I'm asking if that's the case, that it was some alter ego of ourselves or some besides ourselves. Why would they carve the picture of the Sphinx as an Africoid? Was that in homage to the people they found there?
It could have been.
The Sphinx has been changed. Originally, they don't know what the Sphinx looked like.
But how did they do it? Who made it look like it look now? How did
It's
let's
funny.
say that.
They did that after Khufu.
After, so
They
with
did
copper
that
tools,
after
with bronze
Khufu.
tools, with bronze tools.
Say what?
With bronze inferior tools, they did that after Khufu.
They did that after Khufu 2,500 years ago.
So that means they didn't have nothing but bronze
say-
and rock tools.
They say the Sphinx got watermarks. The
Yeah.
last time it rained in that region was before
13,000.
the Ice Age, 10,000 years ago.
So we just talking about the
So they built on top of it.
It's at least
Not so much built
12,000
on top
years
of it.
old.
It's
No,
that
I get you. I get you, Apostle. But the
supposed
question is, why is the Sphinx's face at that time? How could you carve on that hard stone with just mere bronze tools? Because at 2,500 years, it was just bronze tools.
Well, originally they said it was struck by lightning.
And it made an African face.
They said the face was struck by lightning. And then they begin to chisel it out. Khufu for Concrete did it for Khufu or something like that. It don't matter. The bottom line is they moved tons of stone. The smallest is like 2 tons. They can't, modern technology, they can't move 1 stone.
Look
They
at
move tens and thousands of stones.
now. That's deep. What Apostle is saying. They can't even move it with a crane, bro. That's what I'm talking about, Asar.
No, they could move it. The crane
Asar,
sunk
deal
into
with the
the
coral-
stand. It was
the
too
coral
heavy.
stone.
So what
Deal
they
with the
needed
Coral
to
Island
do
stone.
was very simple. It was a, like I said, they call it a miracle of engineering. They moved a whole complex over to a different location than where you would have seen it back in those days. So the complex that they seen, or that you see, that was moved by the Chinese when they did it,
Yeah, Japanese.
is huge. Let me see if I can pull it up here for you, and you can
Sorry, while
see.
you pull it up, can you please pull up what's the name with that? The Coral Island stones and how they were moved.
Okay, we can do that too.
Yeah,
Let's
because
look
those
at.
are
Y'all looking at those watermarks on the Sphinx, right?
Yeah, that's 10,000 BC. That's the last
Yeah,
time that.
before 10,000 BC.
No, the last
Before it
watermarks are at 10,000
Right,
BC.
the-
The
right.
structure was built way before that, which is
Before.
why.
That's what I'm saying. If the
No,
rain,
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm telling you is, when you see that, we know clearly that when they try to historically place them at 3,500 BC, they're
it's
wrong.
inaccurate. They're wrong.
Right.
Now, sorry. What about this though? And nobody's remembering this. Before Egypt was even a society, they found the black mummy that's over the oldest mummy on earth, and that was in northern like Libya. So how did they learn
but the problem
mummification
is,
before the society?
the problem is, even though they don't look exact alike, they're built in similar ways. The American pyramids, the American pyramids are built on the same latitude as the Great Pyramid.
Facts.
Thank
Somebody
Benjamin
from above had to be able to do that.
Okay, hold on. Let me. So now,
the pyramids being 8-sided, not 4-sided, but you can't tell it until you look down from above it.
Well, that goes back to the
Pyramids
aerial
are
view.
8-sided.
I'm gonna hop in
Not
real quick
Apostle
right before you
makes sense
go,
with that.
just so I can show this real quick. Let me go back
That's
to
like
it.
the Nomo too, Apostle, the Nomo of the Dogon. They said they came down here, gave them all that cosmology, and then NASA just finding them stars later on in the game. But they called the Nomo, and they were fish beings that
The
came to
Nemo.
Earth and lived in the Nomo.
you got to look at the geometry, the alchemy. Okay, the working with Mercury, the high science.
Right.
Okay, like
You know that damn thing is
the right
22
angles, the pi, and then not to
You need
mention the
look at black
astrolabe
hole.
that literally calculates position on the planet.
You need to
A
look at
whole
black hole
tool.
and give praise. Tell them, Silky. And while you're telling them, let me share my screen so you can see this.
And the
This is
figure
the one that
five
Just
China
follow
moved.
that out the geometry.
This is the
And
one that
look at
China moved in
Zimbabwe.
Abu Simbel.
There's no mortar in there, and it's built just like the big walls of Great Zimbabwe. Then there's no mortar that stacks each brick on top of each brick.
Do you know the definition of martyr?
So here goes before y'all get off topic.
I said mortar, not mortar.
Here goes
Mortar. Mortar.
the one that they moved, brick and mortar.
Like that liquid stuff in the middle that sticks it.
This is the one that China moved. That weighs more than the pyramid.
Yeah, Abu Simbel.
Yes, they moved this, and you can see the top of it. Let me go to the top of it. That's the top of it, all the way to the bottom. This is not in its original location.
Facts. Because of the water, they flooded it.
Yes, it would have been lost if China couldn't move it. This is an engineering miracle. This weighs a lot. And so they moved this. If China can do it, if China can do it, then the African can do it. And the African did it, and the African made it. So we can do anything. Anything necessary on the planet can be done by your African
we know Apostle ain't gonna get an
sisters.
African his credit. We ain't worry about Apostles got crazy statements. But
y'all crazy.
I bet them Hebrews built Solomon's temple, though. I bet you he gonna say they did that.
Solomon's temple? Solomon's temple is not a mathematical engineer. There's nothing special about that.
Okay.
Solomon's temple wasn't made by 2-ton stone blocks and all that kind of carrying on.
I stand
It's just
corrected.
regular mortar, like any other building, like the Colosseum.
Okay.
So, yeah. Solomon's building ain't nothing spectacular about it. The temple, as far as that is concerned.
Why we can't find these aliens today?
Who say you can't?
How come we can't see these aliens now?
Who say you can't?
Where they at?
Where they at? Maybe they walking among you. Maybe they walking right beside you. They're
They
eating
walking
in the
next
White
to us.
House.
How come they
Maybe
can't use
they're
these
controlling
pyramids
this
when it's
goddamn
time?
country.
They could
Maybe they are controlling this planet.
Shift
How do
changes.
you know?
Shift changes.
How you know? How? You know this documentation saying that Eisenhower met it in 1957.
I don't believe Eisenhower.
Hey,
All
Asar. You know where I sent you that paper on Ophiuchus? Well, it was saying that was 10th dynasty Kemet that they had up in the temple of Het Heru. They had the symbol of the flying serpent. That's thousands of years before the Mexicans' Quetzalcoatl feathered serpent was ever thought of.
Correct.
All right, let me get Jose in here, man. Jose, what you want to say, brother?
Hello?
Brother Zay.
Hello, you hear me?
Yeah, what up?
Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Number one, there's no such thing as pyramids in America. That's number one. Those are mounds. It's not the same thing. Nowhere near the same thing. That's right. And number two, if you're building something on top of tools, you don't need an air shaft for power. You heard me?
There's no such thing of a pyramid in America.
No, those are mounds. Those are not pyramids.
Huh?
They don't call them pyramids. They call them mounds. They are not pyramids.
No, you don't know what a mound is a hill of dirt. That's what a mound is.
It's not a pyramid.
That's not a pyramid. What a mound and a pyramid are two different
What
things.
about the ziggurats?
They call them mounds.
What about the ziggurats? What about the ziggurats?
They're not the same as the pyramids in Kemetic.
Why are they not? Why are they not?
Same, but
Wait,
they
hold
are
on, hold on. Why are the ziggurats? We know they're not the exact same, like identical, but they're structures that look like pyramids, and they're huge monuments all over the Americas.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing.
Why? Because why are they not this? Wait. Hold on, Apostle, my voice. I'm trying not to strain. Why are they not the same? There's a step pyramid in Saqqara, and the ziggurats are pyramids with steps. So why are they not the same?
Because when you look at them, they don't look exactly the same.
Okay, you sound ridiculous as usual. Are there step pyramids? Wait, is there a step pyramid of Saqqara and Kemet?
The first stone building.
I'm not arguing with you about that, but
No, it's not about argument. All you got to do is answer. We're going to walk this down. Are there step pyramids in Kemet? Are there step pyramids in the Americas?
Yep.
Okay, so that's done.
Yeah, but hold on. But they are not the same thing, though, Nepal. I do agree with him on that. They are totally different.
How are they different?
Those could crumble easy. Those could crumble easy and ruin real easy.
Okay.
To
you do know there's pyramids in Kemet that can crumble easy, right?
Compared to the step pyramids in Egypt.
Okay, let me take. I don't want to strain my voice. You do know that there are pyramids in Kemet that also are crumbling, and they're not the same as the. We're not talking about the Giza pyramids.
Those are the ones that's in Nubia.
I'm not talking about the pyramids of Giza. Those are phenomenal. I don't know if human beings or whatever, extra superhumans, whatever. I'm talking about all over Kemet. There are pyramids that are collapsing, that are not built like the ones in the Giza Plateau. So, again, they are. If we're going to talk about I've heard our brother Jabari say this too, and I disagree. When you say to someone there's pyramids in the Americas, there's clearly ziggurats that are considered, and there are step pyramids in Kemet, just like in America. Why are people always trying to say no, no, no? They're right there.
Well,
And there's also pyramids in
that's what I'm
Asia.
gonna ask you too, Nepal, Asia.
There's
But wait a
a
minute.
ziggurat on the moon. How
But
the hell
there's
that get there?
there's
Nepal, we're
mastabas.
not saying
Those
no.
pyramids
What
that
we're saying
Nepal is
when we're
talking about
talking
in
about
Egypt,
construction,
the
they're not doing
Saqqara,
the same thing.
One at a time, y'all.
the
One at a
Saqqara
time.
pyramid, yeah, the Saqqara pyramid that Nepal is talking about. It started off as one layer, two layers, three layer. They were called mastabas.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is what I think. Human beings try to copy, this pyramids of Giza all around the world. You can see that the pyramids of Giza, there's so much behind the science, like how they're aligned with the constellations, how the ratio of the pyramid is also the scale ratio of the earth, different things. There's all kinds of things that match up, and you can't just say, oh no, that's a coincidence. So you know what I'm saying? It's very disconcerting when people try to say there's no pyramids anywhere besides Africa. That doesn't make
So,
sense. There's pyramids everywhere in the
Nepal,
world.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask Nepal a question. Can you hear me,
There's
Nepal?
pyramids even underwater.
Yep. Hey, Nepal, can you hear me?
Yes.
Now listen to this. Nepal, think about it though. The pyramids of Giza, the old ones, or the ones you're talking about, they're not four-sided, they're eight-sided.
So is the one
So
against.
that's a none of them across the world are. So how are they trying to emulate an eight-sided pyramid with only four
I
sides
don't know.
everywhere else?
They can never, let me say
The
this,
Great
to this,
Pyramid is eight sides.
even with the technology we
Eight-sided
have,
pyramid.
no one can copy those pyramids. No one can do anything that we still don't know how those structures were built, but people try. Because they're so phenomenal and because ancient people knew more than we actually think we know today, they knew more and they weren't laughing at each other if someone said different types of beings built them. I mean, we literally have different types of humans. We have Neanderthals, people who say they're so scientific and they say, okay, I believe that we are related to apes. Will laugh in your face if you say, well, maybe they weren't human beings who built this. We don't know who actually, humans can't build it, put it that way. We still to this day cannot duplicate the technology and the science that went into building those structures. And that is what is phenomenal. And I'm going to add one more thing. Why is it that when Hebrews are asked, prove it, show it, where is it? Where's all the writing of them building these pyramids? This is the most amazing structure in the world. Where's all the documentation in Kemet? They wrote down everything. Why didn't they write down specifically about these structures if they built it? There's information coming out saying that those pyramids might be between 7,000 to 9,000 years old, not the 4,500 or the 5,000 that's been said. So why is it that I'm going to say it again, and I want to ask our Kemetic scholars, where is the information written down in the sa.neter about all these pyramids? About all the work, the years that must have gone into work to building these pyramids. Where's the information?
And let me go on to show you this to prove what Nepal is saying. I want everybody to look at this, and if y'all want me to stop it, y'all got to tell me stop it. Hold on. All right, let's take a look at this so I don't get hit. Fair use. We gotta break this down. Check this out. This is what Apostle is talking about too.
Die berühmtesten antiken Bauwerke der Welt eine ganze Stadt direkt unter unseren Füßen verbergen? Im März 2025 wurde die Welt der Archäologie von einer Ankündigung erschüttert, die direkt aus einem Abenteuerfilm zu stammen
I didn't know it was in this language. I thought it was in English.
Ein Team aus italienischen und schwedischen Forschern gab an, unter dem antiken Pyramidenkomplex von Gizeh in Ägypten etwas Außergewöhnliches entdeckt zu haben. Nicht nur eine Kammer oder einen Gang, sondern etwas, das sie als riesige unterirdische Stadt beschrieben. Die potenzielle Entdeckung stellt eine der
Look how deep that went down, y'all. Just look at that.
It's almost 7,000 feet deep, sa.neter.
If
Yeah, but
it's a
start it
whole
over. Let
underground
Apostle hear it.
city underneath it, then Apostle, you said they couldn't even breathe down there. How did they build the whole city if they couldn't breathe?
But listen, let's look at it.
Kündigung erschüttert, die direkt aus einem Abenteuerfilm zu stammen scheint. Ein Team aus italienischen und schottischen Forschern gab an, unter dem antiken Pyramidenkomplex von Gizeh in Ägypten etwas Außergewöhnliches entdeckt zu haben. Nicht nur eine Kammer oder einen Gang, sondern etwas, das sie als riesige unterirdische Stadt beschrieben. Die potenzielle Entdeckung stellt eine der bedeutendsten Behauptungen über das Gizeh-Plateau seit Jahrzehnten dar. Laut dem Forschungsteam unter der Leitung von 1500 Fuß und mit einer internationalen Strukturen. Die Bilder,
Did
die
you
sie
see
der
that, Apostle? Pause it. Did you see where it said 6,500 feet deep?
Kairo, wo die Forscher ihre vorläufigen Ergebnisse einem fast...
Also, when I was saying about breathing, they have not been permitted to go down there. The reason why they know how deep it is because they x-rayed it. They sonogrammed it.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to say, wouldn't allow them to examine it. How deep it actually is.
...losen Publikum vorstellten. Mit Hilfe einer Kombination aus satellitengestütztem Synthetic Aperture Radar, SA-Technologie und seismischer Schwingungsanalyse erstellte das Team hochauflösende dreidimensionale Bilder dieser unterirdischen Strukturen. Die Bilder, die sie der Öffentlichkeit zugänglich machten, zeigten ein komplexes Netzwerk aus Kammern, Gängen und offenen Räumen, die in einem überraschend geordneten Muster angeordnet waren. Der vielleicht faszinierendste Aspekt der behaupteten Entdeckung ist das Vorhandensein von 8 vertikalen zylindrischen Schächten mit einem Durchmesser von jeweils etwa 3,6 Metern. Diese Schächte verbanden Berichten zufolge mehrere Ebenen unterirdischer Strukturen, was auf einen ausgeklügelten technischen Ansatz schließen lässt. Dr. Key beschrieb die Anordnung als an ein modernes mehrstöckiges Gebäude erinnernd, das jedoch vor über 4000 Jahren errichtet wurde. Das Team vermutet, dass diese Schächte möglicherweise mehreren Zwecken dienten, von der Belüftung und Bewegung zwischen den Ebenen bis hin...
Chill, Apostle. Look at this. Hold on, Apostle. Yo, y'all look at this, man. Just take a look.
None of that is actual picture. That's all cartoon.
Zu potenziellen astronomischen Ausrichtungsfunktionen. Das Ausmaß des angeblichen unterirdischen Komplexes ist wirklich bemerkenswert. Ägyptische unterirdische Metropole der Daten auf. Dr. Zahi Hawass, ehemaliger Minister für Altertümer in Ägypten und einer der weltweit führenden Ägyptologen, äußerte sich äußerst skeptisch und stellte fest, dass außergewöhnliche Behauptungen außergewöhnliche Beweise...
I just want to say this. Okay, this guy is the epitome of Satan. He's such a liar and adversary of the people. And guess what? He's saying that he's very skeptical about it as well. So if he says that he's skeptical about it and he doesn't think it's anything, that makes me want to know what it is more. I just want to say that.
Yep. Fact.
Yeah, Zahi is
Why
that,
stop them from finding out the truth? Allow them to find out the truth.
This ain't the truth, though. If we're going to get to the truth, we got to actually have pictures going on the
beschrieben. Die Hypothek Ägyptens und möglicherweise Entdeckung würde die herkömmliche Ansicht in Frage stellen, dass das Gizeh-Plateau in erster Linie eine Nekropole und ein zeremonielles Zentrum war. Die Nachricht von der Entdeckung verbreitete sich sowohl in akademischen Kreisen als auch in den populären Medien wie von Schlagzeilen, die verkündeten, dass war. Die Nachricht von der Entdeckung verbreitete sich sowohl in akademischen Kreisen als auch in den populären Medien wie von Schlagzeilen, die verkündeten, dass eine altägyptische unterirdische Metropole und eine geheime Stadt unter den Pyramiden gefunden worden sei. In den sozialen Medien explodierte die Zahl der Theorien, die von nachdenklichen archäologischen
It's German, but I don't know why. Yeah, we need to take it off of here. It's like no one in the audience really. It's German.
Gewiesen noch unterstützt. Sie kündigte
Sie Kondens, we get this theater, Fräulein.
Yeah, Fräulein Netter.
Tiefer unterirdischer Struktur.
When I was listening to it, that's crazy. It was in English.
That's crazy.
It's now is in.
Maybe you turned on a certain language like selection when you didn't know.
Yeah,
Fair use, they may not play it in your country with the right language. Now
hold up. Asar, can you share your screen about the coral so we can all get an understanding of what this guy did on the island, how phenomenal he moved the stone?
To break that down. He did that.
Who did?
Smash.
No, he didn't do the Coral Island. Nobody showed that.
Nah, that wasn't the same one, sir. That wasn't the same one.
Oh, okay.
Can you do
Coral
it, Asar?
Island. You talking about the guy with the black box?
No, I don't know how he did it. They said he moved the stones on Coral Island, and
Yeah,
they
you
were so
talking about the guy
massive
with the
he
black
pulled-
box. I'm just going off my brain. I'm about to pull it up here for you. Black box.
Yeah, they had the black box.
He did
Okay.
have it. Okay. Yeah, that was the white dude with the black box.
That's
He
gonna-
said that
let
he
Sar see
found the
that.
box in ancient Egypt and it made
Wow.
stones lighter when he moved them around, and then he built a structure on
But he
Coral
was out
Island.
of sight when he did it. No one saw him do it. That's
Yeah,
the
so
thing.
we don't know if he telling the truth or not. But I've
But we
seen
know the stones was heavy and it
ain't
made
lying.
a structure. Something made a structure. However he done it, it was done though because they made them into houses and temples and all kind of stuff with that coral, and that's heavy.
All right, so I'm still gonna go with what I said. I know Pharaoh Kemet. Pharaoh is saying that he believes that our ancestors built the pyramids, right, Pharaoh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's right.
I just want to real quick. Look, I cut my workout short for this one, Si. You know I'm coming through for the pyramid talk.
Yeah, but you know what? Just like Paul was saying, how are we so quick to ask for sources and show us how it was done? We asked them, but now I'm asking you, my brother. Show me the tools they used to cut them stones, brother.
Listen, I ain't got no tools. I'm kind of 50-50 with what you're saying. You're saying aliens, but I'm saying we are the individuals that we identify as that from the past. We used to have technology that we do not have access to today. Therefore, I believe that it's just what I believe. They use telekinesis to move the rock and cut the rocks. That's what I say. And we don't have access to
So
that.
how come we can't do that today?
No, we cannot do that today. What'd you say?
So
No, I was just saying why we can't do it today.
Because we lost access to that part. Whatever they did to us, screwing us up over time and all that, took away our ability to do that, and they hid the way to get back to it. So it's our job to work back to what we used to know. I believe this to be true, man. Ain't no ropes and pulleys and chains and all that crap. That ain't, bro. I'm sorry. I agree with most of what Asar be saying, but that's a little bit. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So who is they who took it away from us?
The powers that whoever is in control of the
it?
information is who took it away. I would say the same people that given us.
So the same people that's controlling the information.
Yo, I want y'all to stop cutting the brother off. Let him finish, and then y'all can ask the question. Go ahead, finish, Pharaoh.
No, that's it. All I'm saying is technology that we do not today have access to or have lost the way of. That's it. I don't want to use the word alien because we got on way too far of a side convo on that last time, and that's not my point here. My point is that Black people did it from the ancient past with technology that we no longer have access to. That's my point.
So where are the tools? Why we can't find none of it? We could find the money.
Okay, I'm saying it's
the tools is
telekinesis,
here.
bro. So that would be the tools would be in our mind that we don't got access to no more.
Nah, the tools are here. The method that they used is not so comprehensive because we got cell phones in our hand most of the time.
Even though
tools, I'll
hold
show
on,
you the
Apostle.
tools.
Show me the tools.
I want to see the tools. I want to see the tools.
They're gonna be mad at it, but this is the tools that they use to cut.
Don't you dare show me something where I can go in my kitchen and open up the door.
You can go up there.
It better not be no ropes,
There
bro.
it is.
Come on, so I don't do that. So.
Look at that. That joint right there is no different than a Slim Jim. I pop your car open with that joint. But here's your axes. Here's your saw. Here's your picks. This is the chiseling, which if you ever seen somebody chisel and carve something out and get really detailed.
They showed that, Asar, and they kept wearing out.
Hold on, Asar. Do you know how long it would take to use these little things to carve and chisel and make things right and exact? And
it ain't realistic, bro. It ain't realistic.
The curvature to make it round, to carve out your knuckles and make it perfect. Come on, Asar. So curve out your nose, your lips, and everything is like the curvature of it is right and exact. No, them tools are not doing that, brother.
Sa makes sense with that. So you got to look at this. Not them tools, but there's a guy named Gary Jennings. He wrote a book, 4 books. Each one of them is 1,000 pages called Aztec. In this book, he talks about how the Mayans and Aztecs used crystals, and they had the sun hit the crystal and a beam, laser beams, and they could cut stuff with laser. Do you think our ancestors was that advanced to use laser?
Well,
I'm with that. I'm with that.
You've got the tools, and you've also got, remember, you got a body of about 100,000 people on task. So it's not going to be that difficult to carve out. Now, when you see people shape different vases and put stuff on it on spinning wheels with clay today with just their hands, and it's very detailed, what you think they're going to be able to do with tools and picks and different stuff like that? But
I think those tools were used to carve the metal nature. I would give that to that. Those
absolutely.
You see that saw?
Yeah, but they didn't
They
use
say
it.
that saw wore out within an hour and a half. It had wore out its ability to carve into the stone. They
don't know how to do it. You got to know the method. Method is key. The other thing that we're missing is this.
They were only able to cut
Our
3
sister
inches.
Our sister Nepal said there's no information left for it. We've got a whole diary of how they moved it. We've got a whole tomb showing you moving something heavier. You got the Memnon statues, them statues over there, 820 tons, and they're showing you exactly how they got busy. And
But check it out. Her point was
supposed to.
Her point was how long it took. If it took that, because it would take a long time to do what you're saying. So if it took that long, they would have talked about it more.
No.
They would have talked about it like
They calculated it, and it took.
I mean, it's more of a feat to us.
620 years.
When
they calculated it, based on the ratio, it would have took 600. Even though they
said, writing, bro, they would have wrote about it. Would have took
620 years.
Why? It's more of a feat to us than them. Remember, they've got several buildings over there that are big, huge monuments of their faces on everything. The pyramids, which would probably be the easiest of all of the things that they built to build, because there's no detail in them. It's not like it's a bunch of writing on them. It's big giant blocks. So if you see the Ramesses building itself, which fits the Empire State, it fits the Twin Towers that they tore down, it fits all of those in there, and you don't marvel at that, why would you marvel at the pyramids, which is much easier to put together?
Well, they can't. If it's much easier, why can't they duplicate it?
Let me just ask this one
question. For what at this point in time? Is anybody putting up money for them to do so?
All they got to do is do it.
For what?
Sorry, what would you say?
To prove that you can. To prove that you can.
Yeah, we'll put some money down so that they can do it. Who's going to take their time out to do something with no paper behind it?
Don't sit here and say it's the paper.
It is the paper.
And whoever do it is going to have so much paper, it's going to be crazy.
Watch this, watch this. Have you gone to visit the pyramids? Oh, watch this. Have you gone to visit the pyramids, Apostle?
No.
Okay, so
I have not gone.
So it's such a
because you went,
you haven't even gone to see it.
You don't know
and you want somebody to put something together for free.
Then you knew before going.
For what?
That's all. You just seen something with your eyes.
I went and stomped on it,
stepped on it, climbed. You still don't know how they made it.
Detected it, and you ain't even went to visit it, but you.
It doesn't matter.
Hey, I give credit to you for that. I give credit to you. You actually went. I give credit
now. Then you
give credit. He went.
Okay.
He went.
And you ain't got no technology at all.
Okay, wait, hold up. Okay, we got that. Sorry. What would you say that those metal tools, they cannot cut diorite stone though? Those De Joja statues,
perfectly
perfect to the bone. So I think laser had a play in that. We don't know about the laser beams, but lasers had something to do with it.
Definitely, he is right on point. Yes.
They spoke on diamond, but they also speak on the water and how they roll that stone thing across it, which cuts the stone, and it shows the water in the stone cutting. So it's possible. The problem is the method that they were using, like the dude who used one of their hammers, he hit the stone so stupid looking. It was like, of course you're not going to break anything or even crack anything or even chisel anything with the method you're using. Method is important. And if you don't know how they did it and you just hitting it like you would hit a nail, you're not going to get it done. And he hit it real smart.
Like Mark, you went over
I
there.
seen
Go
that
back
dude
over
on
there
that
and
video.
show
I
how
was
to
like,
do it.
I mean, of course you ain't going to crack it. You couldn't bust a grape doing that. You'll mess around, Mr. Grape, the way he hit it.
You go over there and show them how to do it.
Hey,
Throw some money down. Throw some money. No. Throw some money down. I got the homies over in Sudan. We can get together and they'll move for money because the homies run the country. Right. We can get. What's up? Put some money down.
That's a lot of money, bro.
Money down. All the money that's earned.
2 mil. 2
yeah,
mil.
That's a little more than that.
2 million.
All the money that's
and I call
earned.
Mohammed Gavin right now. I call him right now on the phone. I'll be like, yo, we coming over with a project. 2 million. What you trying to do? See, it got quiet.
Hey, that would be more than 2 mil, though. That's all I'm saying. We had to put together everything for that. Get that proof.
Hey, sorry, you do martial arts, right, Asar?
I'm gone, man.
Yes, sir.
Y'all is stupid still.
You know certain people will try to.
Yo, Apostle, don't go yet. Apostle,
just remember, sa.neter spank you in the debate. Go ahead, brother.
Hold on, y'all. Apostle.
Yeah.
I'm about to show you what you was just talking about. How the chains pop, how the boulders pop.
Yes.
Trying to
I put
carry
that in the
on
chat
block.
too. I put that in the chat. That chains would
Yeah,
have.
I thought I put it in the chat, but that's go ahead.
Well, I'm getting ready to show it. I'm downloading the video right now. I'm downloading
let me ask you
the
this, Asar.
Wait, hold on. Asar. So you do martial arts. You do
Hold on,
know.
Apostle. Don't go nowhere yet. I'm downloading the video.
Everybody on the panel, even the Apostle, know this. Asar could have each one of us try to break a brick. We'd all break our knuckles. Asar would hit it and the brick would break. Am I right, Asar?
That's true. I've done some stuff.
Yeah, all right. You keep on believing that stuff. Yeah, the only thing that break is
the pyramid into place.
My partner Craig Pumphrey he had the record. They just broke it. He had the record for folding a pan the most.
Wow.
And then him and his brothers on MTV with the ice breaking record. One break it with his shoulder, the other break it with his leg. And
power team. You talking about the power team?
You know people can break.
Craig Pumphrey and them. Yeah, that's my jujitsu partner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's people that can do. That's common sense. That just shows you certain people can do certain things with
that's
the mind
a fact,
that
though.
others
But
can't.
the precision, we talking about precision. They ain't gonna break it perfectly. They can break it maybe, but it's gonna be.
1993, German engineer Rudolf Gattenbrink was inside the Great Pyramid of Giza,
right,
studying an
go.
unexplored shaft in the.
Let me move it all the way up to it.
Yeah, this is my video. Yeah. Yeah, this is the video.
Yeah.
The intricate interior, weighing up to 80 tons, were somehow transported from a town 500 miles south of Giza.
You see that? These boulders were transferred 500 miles south. How was they able to do that? Listen.
Kind of crazy to think about, because even if the mainstream Egyptologists are correct that the pyramid was built 4,500 years ago, it would still predate the invention of the wheel by roughly 300 years. Now, I'm not one to doubt the creativity of man, especially the ancient Egyptians, but in a day and age where we have airplanes, skyscrapers, and invisible internet waves delivering feet pics to people across the globe in an instant, moving an 80-ton rock, even with today's technology, is no small feat. See what I did there? For instance, here's an image of a 30-ton construction vehicle attempting and failing.
Look at that, Asar. Come on, man. How in the hell is these midgets, the Egyptian people, going to carry boulders all the way for 500 miles, bro?
He got the wrong technique.
Wait to the next clip.
to move a large limestone rock. And here's a video showing that even our most powerful hydraulic cranes struggle to lift rocks of this size. And those are steel cables, not the bullshit papyrus ropes the ancients
steel cables, bro.
He acting like papyrus rope don't hold together tight.
Construction vehicle attempting and
he got chains on his wrist.
Listen.
failing to move a large limestone rock. And here's a video showing that even our most powerful hydraulic cranes struggle to lift rocks of this size. And those are steel cables, not the bullshit papyrus ropes the ancients supposedly used to drag these stones into place using wooden rollers and wet sand.
Now, Egyptologists will tell you that, oh, they could move heavy blocks because they put them on wet sand. Well, maybe if you're just at ground level, that will do. But when you're 350 feet above the ground, as you are in the King's Chamber, that won't do at all.
I'm just gonna make an educated guess and say that wooden rollers would stand zero chance of being placed under 80 tons of anything, which leads me to the cuts on these stones. Every stone making
There we go. Thank you.
making up the pyramid was not glued into place using concrete or mortar or anything like you'd expect. In reality, each side was cut so precisely and placed so delicately that the joints between every stone making up the pyramid fit so perfectly together like Legos that you can't even fit a razor blade between them. Meaning that this structure has literally withstood the test of time using nothing but its own weight and precision-made cuts. Something you can't necessarily say for any of the 100 plus pyramids built by copycat pyramid builders for over 700 years after the Great Pyramid. So how did the Egyptians cut each stone so perfectly? According to mainstream Egyptology, they used copper handsaws and chisels. And just to show you how utterly unrealistic this is, not long ago, one Egyptologist attempted to recreate the stone of the Sphinx using copper chisels, much like the ones the ancient Egyptians might have used. And after several days of hammering away at this stone non-stop, he barely made a dent in it.
After days of work, their copper chisels and stone pounders are barely making a dent.
Not only was the copper chisel not chipping away at the limestone very efficiently, but the chisel itself would become utterly useless after a few dozen strikes.
When Roger tries chisels made from bronze, the results are disappointing.
As you can see, we're leaving a lot of.
This is crazy.
Okay, so look at what I'm saying. Look at what I'm saying. Yo, everybody, chill. Look at what I'm saying right quick. Those chisels and all of that. Look at the curvature on the arms. Look at the eyes. Look at the nose. Perfect. The fingers right here. Perfect. How in the hell they gonna do that with the brother? I know you don't agree with me, but you ain't gonna agree with me when I say this. These people were from somewhere else.
You better praise
you can't
the
tell me I
natural
don't
root.
agree with you, sir.
Oh, okay.
Praise the natural root.
I told
better
I
get
told
right.
Sir that the Dogon tribe had a people come called the Nomo, who came from other star system and taught the whole star system to the Dogon. Yes,
No.
and they told them about Sirius B.
Ain't no
And when they-
Syrians came over nowhere.
I agree. I agree with you, sir.
All
Came
right.
from Series B, something that they didn't know exists 175 years
Yeah, they
ago.
call them Nomo.
They didn't know the Series B star existed.
You better go pour that
And then they told
libation
them about
today,
Sirius
and you
B.
better talk
They
to the
told- they told
natural
them
and your
about Sirius
ancestors
B.
so you
Yeah.
can get back on track and
I'd
get
rather
this type of technology
I'd
back.
rather worry about the ones coming from those tens and thousands of planets around those tens and thousands of other suns.
All right. Let me bring in my man, Cosmic Sankofa. Cosmic, what up, man? What you think?
Yo. Let me read something. Peace.
Uh-oh.
The family.
Cosmic coming in.
I want to read something. Let me, this is from a book that, has kind of set the foundation for some of this conversation. But maybe, I don't know if this is where you're going, but this is where it sounds, right? So this is from Chariots of the Gods, page 19. It says, what do primitive beings on this planet think about the monstrosity that landed there? Talking about space aliens, right? And then he calls the people that they came into contact with semi-savages, right? And then consistently referring to our ancestors as savages. And then in another passage in the book asking, do we believe that savages could have built the wonders and the technology that we see in ancient Kemet today, right? So I hear in this conversation, because of this new discovery that has occurred in ancient Egypt, now it brings into conversation like maybe something else has occurred, maybe beings from other planets. No, at the moment, the only evidence we have no evidence whatsoever of anybody from any other planet coming to visit us doing anything, right? All we have is Africans building civilization in the past. I mean, the Diary of Merir is a diary of a tomb builder, of one of the pyramid builders, not a tomb builder, but a pyramid builder. The Diary of Merir, although it's not detailed, it's kind of chopped up. He's really just talking about, what he ate, during what day, they transported stones from here to there, but it is a diary of one of the people that built the pyramids. And so we have that. And then when you look inside the not necessarily the pyramids themselves, but the temple complex that's associated with the pyramids, when you read along the pyramid walls, that is an initiation rite and a ritual that has African cosmology all throughout it. So it's amazing to discover this discovery that they have is amazing. It's interesting. It's not amazing. Everything we've seen is AI generated images. We just have that whatever extra.
Yeah, but cosmic.
The structure.
Cosmic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just like cosmic, you don't have evidence of aliens or someone coming to build it. You don't have no evidence of people building it. You got pictures. You got stories. Hold up. You got stories. Just like we say, nah, it wasn't no Jesus Christ that was here, but we got stories. And we got, we read stories. So when we read stories of the Kemetic people doing it, it's the same thing. Where is the evidence? Where are the tools? How was they able to dig down so deep to have this knowledge that this is what we need to do to make these pyramids stand so long? Like, come on, brother. I mean, it got to be some type of evidence for me. Go ahead, Cosmic.
So this conversation wasn't even thought of. Like, this is like a Billy Carson type of. It's one step towards walking.
Everybody keeps saying Billy Carson.
Yeah, it's one step walking. We're about to hold hands with Billy Carson. But it wasn't a conversation until this amazing discovery happened, right? And it's really not amazing yet because all we have is images. So we need to, and I don't know if they'll even let us go any further than that. But now the question of the Africanity of the discovery of Egypt is in question. Through the course of time, we may discover more. Let me put it like that. Through the course of time, with the advance of our technology, with the advance of our investigative tools, we may be able to discover something that tells us more about how they constructed what they did, right? And then I'll still leave it open. Like, I'm not saying there is no other life that exists on other planets. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm always saying, because I engage in this conversation quite frequently, actually, I am saying there is no hard evidence for extraterrestrial involvement in human affairs. We can say we built it,
but we ignore it.
Yeah, we can. Excuse me.
There is, but we ignore it. When I first met sa.neter, I've been saying this. I'm just not saying this. I've been saying this from the beginning. I always said, ain't no Israelites built no pyramids.
Right.
In fact, ain't no man built no pyramid.
But Zion said the same thing. Zion said he don't believe
from the beginning.
Zion said he don't believe that the Hebrews built it, and he don't believe that the Egyptian people built it.
And this ain't no recent information for me. And there is information out here. There's information out here that shows. There are pictures from the Renaissance that show spaceships in the sky. Paintings.
They got ships on the glyphs, man. They got ships and all that.
So don't sit there and say there's no evidence. Because there is evidence.
So, Apostle, I stopped talking because I thought you was gonna drop like Cosmic. You need to just chill right now, because boom, check this out.
I didn't finish.
Yeah, I didn't receive that, so I'm gonna continue with what I was saying. There is it's extremely egocentric for us to say we're the only planet in the entire universe with life. That's extremely egocentric. You know what I'm saying? Like, no doubt there is more than enough probability to say that there are other planets out there with life, right? But then to say that things from those planets came here, started civilization, and remain in the background because they're afraid of people or whatever, it's too much. There's too much. And then what it does is it continues to add to the conversation that takes away from the greatness of African people.
Yes.
Just to continue to say that we received our knowledge from extraterrestrial beings. like I said, I could go through the pyramid text right now and show you that how that's a ritual alignment that aligns with it not only aligns with the journey of Ra, but the Congo cosmogram as well. And it's African-based knowledge at the very least in the pyramid text, which are in the temples attached to the pyramids.
Correct. And why would they leave that information there? And this is what kills me. You see them in the tomb showing themselves doing it. Then you turn around and you see them give you a diary on how they did it. And so they got the picture for you, they got the diary for you, and it's lined up the same way, and you still doubt what they say concerning. But you'll turn around and go to Sumer and say, oh, but see, we built this over here, blah, 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 blah. It makes no sense at all.
Sorry, I was just going to ask him about the...
No, hold up, King, hold on. Neil Spite was speaking. Go ahead, Neil.
Yes, Sankofa, can you hear me?
Yes, brother.
All right, so you and Asar, because for some reason, when Afrocentrics, when we push the line that we could have relatives of different DNA structures or alien, as you call it, from other places, we're pseudo. But to say that is to say all your people from all of the black, what they call soothsayers or witch doctors in Africa, they're all dummies. You're calling our ancestors dummies because all of them talked about aliens. But all of them are now civil and little children, and you know more ex-slaves. What's up?
Yo, so in the Pale Fox, the man that reported on the Dogon cosmology, he reported that there was 3 levels of knowledge. There's Hiniso, Beniso, and Giriso, right? And then the Hiniso is the extra. The Hiniso is that knowledge that's given to the people that doesn't really contain the knowledge that is that keeps the culture going, that doesn't contain the metaphorical esoteric knowledge that they use in order to understand how herbs will help you heal, or crystals help you heal, so on and so forth. So really what you're looking at is African deep thought, African deep knowledge has different levels of discussion and conversation that comes with it. So when you're talking, I would say that when they're talking, when they're talking about extraterrestrials, I would be high. I don't know, brother. I wouldn't say that. And then even I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna put me put a target on me, reference to some of this, but we have to even apply critical thinking to African trains of thought, because they have mythological trains of thought as well. Like there's a particular story in Ifa that says they have an Ifa corpus that's over 25,000 years old that's guarded by sacred priests that nobody has access to. That sounds just like a mythological tale coming straight from biblical knowledge. You can't verify this corpus of knowledge because it's secret Ifa knowledge that only high initiates have access to.
Right.
Like we have to apply critical thinking even to African deep thought.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm here to make y'all think. See, y'all always want to go on with the same old narrative. And so when I put these thoughts out there, now y'all feathers is getting shaken. Now y'all saying, man, hold on, brother. Why are you trying to take away the greatness of our people? That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm challenging the greatness of our people. See, we always want to try so hard to live off of the backs of what our great ancestors have done. You can't do that no more. Show me how you're going to continue on the greatness. What are we building today? And King J, I'm going to let you go, King. That's not a question for you, but I know you wanted to talk. Go ahead, King J.
Peace, I appreciate it. Just one quick point I did want to say, or bring to the attention to Cosmic. Biblically, when they make the reference of the angels coming down and having relations with the women, and those children being renowned great ones, would that be some sort of alien? And what would that, that seed that is from that be?
And see, I knew that this was the second part of the conversation. Besides the aliens, then you have the Nephilim. Nephilim coming down and being giants among men. And then you have that story of the Nephilim coming down, the people coming down and teaching the heavenly information to the people that they weren't supposed to have.
That used to be in the Bible.
That Hebrew Israelite conversation now, when you're saying they couldn't have done this. And so then at the same time, that's also kind of demonizing Kemet, because that's forbidden knowledge, so to speak. You know, those angels are doing things. Now correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not necessarily Abrahamic like that. But isn't that considered forbidden knowledge? Like the angels weren't supposed to teach that to man, and they weren't supposed to have that information. So by default, then Kemet, then by being a civilization built with that information, would be a demonic or against God-like civilization. So that conversation is still in the line of let's demonize these Black Africans. To me, that's what it says.
You just said it's levels to it, though. That could fall under that, could it not?
I mean, if you want to take it esoteric and metaphorically, then you could say, like, you could go deep with you can go through meditation in trance, and then you can win information. You can get the downloads in order to understand the chemistry and the biology or whatever is included in building that. Yeah, you could do that. But more than likely, people are doing literal kind of interpretations of these things. You know, so
I like that you said that. I like that you said that.
All right, let me move on over right quick. We got Keon that just entered earlier. What's up, Keon?
What's good, Si? Man, I'm loving the conversation, man. You know, it gives me so much good tidings in my heart, knowing that the people who love to call out the Christian faith for believing in angels and flying demons and stuff wants to come up here and also preach to us about how aliens exist. I just love seeing it. You know, it makes us all come back on the same platform. It gives me a warmth in my heart. You know, it gives that we all a little crazy. We all got a little crazy in us somewhere. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with it. But I do agree totally 100% with Sankofa. This is almost like the conversation we was having the other day. We need to stop disrespecting our ancestors by trying to say for some reason they had magical human beings or magical alien beings coming from outside of the universe who taught them how to become civilized human beings. That's the same thing that the white people with gray hair and big old 1980 glasses was telling us back in the 90s, and for some reason we was taking it at heart. I feel like that's disrespectful, and we should just give credit where credit's due.
Keon, everything and everyone is questionable, brother. We challenge everything in today's society. Just like when we can challenge the book of your faith. We challenge that as well. That's not disrespecting your ancestors. We simply saying show and prove. And if our ancestors built the pyramids, then all you got to do is show and prove. Don't get mad. Don't say, oh, we disrespecting the ancestors. Get busy. Put together Sankofa, Keon, Asar, put together a presentation and say, yo, let me go on the HOK and blow this up and show them that this is real, that the ancestors, Pharaoh Kemet, put together a presentation and let me show them that I'm bringing sources.
We can do it.
Not just getting mad.
You're right, Si. You're right, Si. You're right.
No, we can do it, but here's the thing.
Don't the Hebrews do that? When we say that, what do Lexx do? He go in his lab, he get busy, he put his slides together, and he come off and show proof and evidence. That's what we gotta do. Now we sounding like the Israelites. They crying, y'all crying.
Well, no. This is a little different, and I'm gonna show you why it's a little different.
Keon said that.
There's two things
that's happening. Keon, right quick.
Hold
Let me check Keon right quick.
Hold up, real quick.
Uh-oh.
This is two things. One, we're showing the proof. It's not like we didn't show the primary. It's not like when you go next to the pyramid, you're not going to see a big ramp that they tried to use to slide some bricks up there with. So we not only showed the proof, and we got the primaries, and we got the story. The problem right now is I see it, but I don't believe it. It's like Ripley's Believe It or Not. And so now you see what's happening. You see them tell the story. We got everything there. The slides to pull them up there is there. It's not like it don't exist. It's not like they're not sitting right next to the side of the pyramid and the Heru Immarket and the other structures that are really huge. They telling you we got a full-blown diary from Merriweather telling you his whole, what did he tell us? 30 days, said Cope. He told us like 30 days of his mix pulling some blocks over there to make the pyramid, and we still don't believe. So it's not like when you go open the book and you have no primary resource to go to. I can't see a tomb of my brother Jesus, but I can see some of us saw.
Just with that thought,
after you, Apostle.
Do you not believe that Christ rose from the dead? Do you
Yes,
not
sir.
believe in the first chapter of
That's
Acts
spooky
that
enough
Christ
right there.
ascended into heaven? Do you not believe Christ said, "This is not my world, that I'm from a different world"? And if I chose, I could call 10,000 of my aliens, my angels, to come and defend me. Did he not say he was from not this world? And you're going to question aliens?
Where's your primary resource for it?
Christ himself is an alien.
Wait, I mean, well, personally, that's my. But hold on. Personally, that's hold on. Personally, Apostle, that's my belief. I do believe in all that stuff. But again, we're talking about somebody who, according to me and you, gave us a book and told us about the things that they did. You're talking about somebody who's never told us about anything that they did, who we don't have no evidence for at all. I mean, well, again, you probably won't believe that's evidence for a Christian. You're talking about somebody who gave us nothing. We're talking
What
about
about the story of Elijah?
Tell them, Keon.
And the fiery chariot that came out of heaven and picked him up. What about the story of Enoch walking with God?
The story. Look, the story. Look, exactly, Apostle. The story. Where is the story? Where is the story of the pyramid builders? Where is the story of the alien pyramid builders? Where is that story?
That's what I'm saying. That's not part of our etymology from the Bible. But the point is, there are stories of aliens in the Bible.
Okay, now show me the stories of the aliens that built the pyramids. I'm not denying that.
That's not in scripture, brother.
I know that, Apostle.
The fact there's plenty of evidence in the Bible that
Technically, angels are aliens. Technically,
but you deny that aliens exist. Yet the
I
Bible
deny
talks
that
about them over
aliens
and over.
built the pyramids. That's what I deny. I don't deny aliens exist. I don't deny that. I said I deny that aliens built the pyramids because there is no evidence for
that
it.
makes sense. That makes sense.
I don't see nobody else doing it but them.
All right,
That's her
I
opinion.
agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with Earl
So-
more so than him.
So here's the thing. Sa challenged us to do a presentation, right? Here's
Hey,
the thing.
hold on, brother. Keon, you got a lot of background noise, bro, on your mic. But I want to get
My fault.
I want to get Elder Suntan because he ain't speak yet. And then I'll go right back up to you, Cosmic. Suntan, what's up, brother? What do you think? What is your thoughts?
What's up, brother Side, Elder Side, and to the panel? What's up, everybody?
You have a right to your opinion, Suntan. Whatever your thoughts are, brother. Let's go.
My thoughts are this right here. And they're pretty primary the same. I believe that there's a force that created everything, but yet and still, when you have Egypt, and don't say I'm a Egyptian. I don't say nothing like that. I just do what I do as far as the avatar is concerned. But here's my thing. All the history and all the chronology shows that it's not a story about Black Africans and what they did. That you cannot prove. But if you want to sit there and go into the Bible and be dogmatic about it, it can't prove nothing. Only thing you can do is prove a belief. Then that's your business, because that been put into your body, into your mind for the rest of your life unless you change. So I'm gonna say it like this here, because I'm a person who deal in reality, man. And the reality is that if you want to put the Abrahamic face here, you want to put the Kemetic face there. When it comes to proof, you got more proof on this side that this thing exists, and however it existed, it exists. And when you go with the Abrahamic faith, you got to go only with belief, because the Bible is a very profitable book. It's very, how can I say it, knowledgeable. It can teach you, it can save your life. but it's still faith, you know, because there's been wise men who wrote the Bible. They say God wrote it. God is the man. God is within you. So man wrote that book. And my thing is this right here. If you want to believe what man say, you go ahead and do it. And you got so many people who just would not get off of that because they have been trained. But like I said, I would have been a Christian or subscribing to this ideology, man, and I'm 65. So I understand that the proof is in you could show and tell. And it's not a conversation that you supposed to have with somebody. If Apostle want to believe his way, Apostle bless you, believe your way. I want to believe my way. That's the way I do it. So my way is this right here. Chronology tells me that the Egyptians and that because I heard them bringing up the old Bible. I mean, the first Bible, the Ethiopian Bible. It's been brought up right now in this conversation right here. I'm just listening. So if you want to believe in Enoch and you want to believe in all of these things, because Enoch was before the Abrahamic faith. So like I said, you guys, you got to stick to reality and keep your spiritual self to yourself. Don't push it off on nobody else. And I'm going to tell you, and I want to have a conversation with the captain because, see, the captain sticks so close to a book that's just built strictly on belief. I'm talking, bro. All I'm trying to tell you is I'm going to address this to you, Apostle. You cannot go and find no relics of the 12, all Ruth, Paul, John. You can't find anything about Abrahamic faith. But what I do know is they talked about it's called folklore. John Henry Clark told me about that in his presentation. These are stories that have been repeated and repeated for generations and generations. And that's the Abrahamic faith because we was under colonization. So we had to listen to that. And if you starving on an island, Apostle, and I brought you all this food and said, this is from Jesus, you going to believe it, Jesus, you and the rest of the people, whoever with you eating on that food. So like I said, the white persons, the colonizing people, they did it that away. So this is
a conversation about who built the pyramids, man.
Well, Apostle, dig this right here, man. The pyramids are there. Have you ever seen an alien? I'll just break you down right now. Do you know anybody has seen an alien land in the ship, and have you talked to an alien? No, and ain't none of that.
How do you know? How do you know what I seen and talked to?
Okay, you seen one. But, sir, anybody seen an alien, that would be first class news. And if some aliens...
It's reported on the news every day.
Why does this man keep cutting me off?
I'm trying to understand your conversation, man.
My conversation is that you do not know who built those pyramids, but you do know.
So what does that have to do with the Bible?
That's where the Bible contradicts the Egyptian way. He said, let there be, he built this world in 7 days, Apostle. But before he built this world, it was an Egyptian life.
And wait a little while, wait a little bit. Hear about what we talking about.
Man, go ahead on, man. You don't know what you're talking about, man. And like I said, the bottom line is this. Ain't no aliens built nothing. I believe, this is my belief. Y'all can laugh at it if you want to, or you can just take it into advisement. The land back there was full of mountains made of granite and all sorts of these materials. And I think the African was smart enough to go in these mountainized places and build that pyramid from the top down. That's where everything is so precision. And they made a way in. So it's like a big cave. That's what my belief, because I don't know. But I don't believe no aliens and giants came down here and built no pyramid.
All right, good. All right, everybody chill, y'all. We got a new brother in the building. I want to welcome him on. But before that, let me ask Keon. Keon, you there?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe in God?
For a fact.
Do you believe that God itself is an alien?
I wouldn't use alien, but he's definitely not of this world, for sure.
So is the alien.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So you don't believe that your God could have built the pyramids, brother?
I mean, God can do anything, but he didn't say that he did.
Yo, hold on. See, this is how you catch these dudes. You said you believe that God is an alien. I agree with you. Because he comes from outer space. And he's supposed to sit on the throne. So now you doubting your God, my brother Keon?
I'm doubting what he hasn't said he done. He never said that he built the pyramids, so I'm doubting that he built the pyramids.
Well, God never said he built cars, but we know that he built cars, right?
No.
He put the thought in the man's mind, didn't he?
I mean, yeah, but he didn't physically put the
right.
Yeah, but he didn't physically put the materials together. Tom Ford put the materials together to create a car.
Oh man, so now you skating. So once again, is it a possibility that God could have built those pyramids?
Yep, that's a fact. That's a possibility.
The alien God.
Just God. I don't know about
All
alien.
right, I'll move on. Thank you, brother. This is how I get you, brother. Let me go. Hard, what's up, brother?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. What's your thought on what's going on? What's happening? And then I'm gonna come to you, Cosmic.
I just wanted to address, I think the brother named Sankofa.
Yes,
He
go
said
ahead.
something about the Murder Papyrus, and it shows exactly how the pyramids were built, or it shows a ramp and then shows how they made blocks and moved blocks up the pyramids or whatever.
Right.
Does it show exactly how they were constructed and how these blocks that weigh tons that you can barely fit a razor through, if not at all? Does it show how they do that? Does it show the exact mathematics and how they were built? Exactly. Or does it show it being reconstructed at certain periods?
No.
And if it does, I want you to show it. I want you to show us real quick.
That's the
He's
method.
talking to Sankofa. He's talking to Sankofa.
Yeah, no, that, and if you heard me earlier, I said it's spotty. The Murder Papyrus is not specific. So, but see, this is
so that's not enough evidence, then, bro. Let's be honest.
Well, finish your conversation. I don't want to cut you off, brother. Please finish your build.
Okay, what I'm saying is we both have read that papyrus, and I'm glad you admit that it's spotty. I didn't hear you before that. If you said that beforehand, because I had came in at a certain period, I didn't come in the beginning. So I only caught at that point when you were talking about the bricks and then the slope. That for sure at a certain period may show something of reconstructing was done, and I would like to see the exact madu or madat word used to show it to being reconstructed. But you saying that it's spotty, so okay, I agree. It doesn't show exactly how they were built. So the true answer is we don't know, bro.
So let's.
Sorry.
Are you finished?
I would say I would think Asar would have an answer to that question.
Asar, did you? Because I'm definitely trying to.
I mean, concerning the build, like I already said, the method is what's lost. The ability to do it is not so much lost. You just watch the Chinese move something heavier, right? But the method is the issue. What they say concerning cutting rocks, we do have that on the papyrus. What they say concerning mathematics, we have that on the papyrus as well. There's a few of them, such as the not the Greensburg mathematical papyrus, but the what's that other?
It's about the Rhine.
There's the Rhine mathematical papyrus.
I'm not talking about that though. I'm talking about the exact mathematics of how to build those specific pyramids.
Right, but we just said that the method is lost. So we started with the method is lost. But you see them in the tomb in El Bashir moving a heavier item than the pyramid stone on the sleds, which you still have this sled slides.
I'm not sure if it's heavier.
Pyramids next to, huh?
I'm not sure if it's heavier or not. I'm not sure how they cut diorite. I'm not sure.
So take it from the guy.
I will be making up an answer.
Right. So take it from a guy who stood on the pyramid, climbed it, and looked at it. Those bricks are a lot smaller than any of those Memnon statues or the ones in the Ramesses building. So you see them.
They're not the only bricks, though, bro.
Doesn't matter. We're not talking about every brick in Egypt. We're talking about the size and the weight of the objects, because this
I'm
is
talking
what's
about the objects within it too, not just the ones we can see outside. There's huge stones inside of it.
inside is just the inner building. It's not like that. There's a
but
few
it's stone made out of granite and diorite, and it's cut. How do you cut diorite, bro?
The same way they cut the diorite to build those bigger statues. That's what we're telling you. The issue is this.
Okay, I'm asking the method though. How?
We already covered that we lost the method. Why would you keep asking about the method when we covered that we lost the method? So what we're saying is this: we've got bigger statues and bigger buildings and bigger stones being moved, and it's clear in the Al Bashir stela that they're moving those, and they show you the method. And next to the pyramid, you still see those remnants. You see the giant sled spots where they would have had to pull it up by a rope. So you have that. The question is, what is the method to cut? What is the method to do this? What is the method to do that? Now, they lay a few things down, but we haven't seen anybody do it over a period of time. But we also haven't had 100,000 men like they had to make the movement.
I'm sorry. Also talk about how they. Hold on 1 second.
I've been holding this back for like 3 or 4 speakers. All right. Let me set the record. Let me not set the record, but let me put this on the stage. We are here. Well, not me. I am here to defend the greatness and the brilliance of the African mind, right? That is what has been constantly under attack for the last 400 years. And so when we hear discussions about aliens, extraterrestrial beings, so on and so forth, contributing to the knowledge of African civilization, it is taking away from the greatness of Africa. It is easing the consciousness of Westerners when they want to say that Africans did not give them civilization. So that's what we are saying. It's not Egypt, it's Africa, and it's Africa, and it's the African mind. So it's not just Egypt, because the things that built Egypt, the foundational culture that came to culminate to be what we know as Ta-Meri, our Shema Tawi, is the African, right? The burial practices are African. You know, it's an African burial practice. We can find the African burial practice in the fetal position in the Badari civilization. We can find mummification coming from earlier parts of Africa. You know, hold a second, brother. Let me go ahead and get this in. We can find mummification coming from.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing. My bad. Let me keep my.
Coming from earlier parts of Africa. You know what I'm saying? We can look at, like I said, you can look and read the pyramid text, and you can find African cultural motifs that are still expressed in certain African cultures today. So ancient Egypt was an African civilization. It is the flower of Africa. It is the light of Africa. And the only reason that it is because it is the most documented ancient African civilization we have. We have other ancient African documented civilization, you know, such as Nubia. There's great work being done by our scholars now on the Nubian civilization. Dr. Anthony Browder has done some great work in revealing the 25th dynasty and the Karak-Amun and the reconstruction that Karak-Amun and the Nubians did during that period. But it is the greatness of the African mind. Now, when it comes to the pyramid, the whole, and then creating a presentation on who built it, brother Asarim Ka was correct. The methodology has been lost. But just because we don't know that, you know, the exact methodology they did doesn't mean, oh, we don't know. Leprechauns built the pyramid. You might as well say leprechauns built it, because you have no evidence that they didn't. You understand where this conversation can go? You can put anything into that space. You don't know. It becomes, as one of my friends say, a God of the gaps conversation. Because you don't know, you just input something there. And that's not a methodology. Like when you come in and you're trying to reconstruct the greatness of African civilization, you're going off what can be proven. And what can be proven is the construction of Kemetic civilization based on African cultural motifs. So why would the pyramids be any different? Until we find evidence. Now, if the evidence says aliens and we see hardcore evidence, I'm good with that. But just because we don't know doesn't mean we fill it in with what we want it to be.
For sure. I agree with that.
I didn't agree with it, because Cosmic. So you're trying to. So would you say that when you're using the word African, it's synonymous with black?
Yes.
So are you? I know you're familiar with those rock paintings in Libya, right? The earliest ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be included in what you're saying is in this Egyptian culture, right? African culture, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like
Are,
the
Li-
Libyan Tashfinat mummy that is a black 2-year-old boy. Yeah.
Yeah,
are Libyans are Libyans black?
when I said the mummification
The oldest mummy is.
Well, I'm
The
talking to
oldest mummy
Cosmic.
and
I'm talking
found
to
in what we
Cosmic.
call Libya.
I'm talking to Cosmic. I'm talking to Cosmic. Are Libyans black?
modern day Libyans are African, but as far as how melanated they are, they're mulattoes for the most part.
Okay, so it's not safe to say that we can say that after the word African is synonymous with black.
Well, see, what ends up happening here now is a different part of the conversation. Like, okay, they're not sub-Saharan Africans.
Well, they're indigenous. They're indigenous.
Yeah, those Africans try to separate themselves from the sub-Saharan. There becomes a conversation of separating the African out. You know, that becomes a detailed conversation. So we can get into that. So if you're trying to say the Libyan, because then I haven't done any research into like the makeup of the mummy. Was it, what was the makeup and so on and so forth. But if you're trying to say because the Libyan, okay, maybe you could speak to that. But then if you're saying, I'm saying it is an African civilization, and then the cultural elements that went into the construction of the Kemetic civilization are African cultural elements. That is what I am defending. Now, if we want to get into the race of which
are there Mediterranean components in that?
Egypt is a Mediterranean city. So what would be
the Tashfinat mummy is not a Mediterranean person. The Tashfinat 2-year-old boy they found that was mummified, and like the brother said, the fetal position, that is a so-called sub-Saharan African, which that word is racist unto itself.
Right.
But we used it for colloquial understanding because you're trying to argue as if they not black people as what we would deem black today. Yeah, I push back on that real hard.
Actually,
that's where your conversation is coming. You're trying to take away from the greatness of blackness with that line of questioning. I don't know if that's the intention.
I want
that's what was going on.
He definitely is.
I want to identify the admixture.
We went from aliens now to it couldn't have been all black, and it's taken away from the greatness of the African.
Right.
That's what you
take the greatness away from the Africans.
I'm just want to identify the
indigenous Badarians, like the brother mentioned.
The admixture.
Well, when
that happened afterwards.
But the Badarian skeletons they found had subnasal prognatism, which is only a feature of so-called black Africans, bro. So we don't got to do all that.
Well, the Badarian mummies are like skulls are like 33.1. Some are African, some are Mediterranean, then some are mixed. They're all 33% of each. You know what I'm saying?
The Tibu are the
what evidence of that? I'm talking about the anthropological research on the skeleton. You talking about something you got to substantiate for us. The skeleton, the phenotype that we would deem as so-called sub-Saharan African is what they have, and so-called modern day Libyans don't have that.
Right.
So your point is you're trying to say that they're not so-called black, quote unquote, black African, and we must push back on that. That's cap.
But we just go ahead and we what we do is zero in on it. The Tibu is the particular Libyan that UNESCO shows, and the Tibu people are black Libyans in the earliest of their culture, and those are the ones that they find in the graves.
Why y'all only try to say that y'all Egyptian though? Like, isn't black Africans like a mixture of a whole bunch of different ethnicities?
We don't do that.
Yeah, but they're still all bunched into so-called sub-Saharan Africans, though, bro. Regardless if you talk about the boy, if you talk about the Bantu, right?
Sa made it clear.
No, Asa.
Yes, sir.
You said the Tibu people, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, that used to be my name as a teenager, my graffiti name.
Tibu?
Yeah, but I never knew what the hell that mean. I just went, stuff sounded good to you when you was a kid.
Hey,
and that used to be my name that I graffiti, that I write all over the place.
That's crazy.
I ain't know what the hell it meant. I just chose that.
You would be naming yourself after the ancient Libyans.
See that? So it was meant for me to be in this place where I'm at, bro. That's crazy.
Spirit inside. Spirit.
And remember, Brother Keon, we started this conversation about them being little people.
Right.
I said, how are these little people? Because what you have that makes up the Happy River is an amalgam. Like you find in the Maasai, you find the Ilisar clan amongst the Maasai. You find the Il Aset people amongst the Kalenjin. You find a group called something about the Horu amongst the Khoi. And you also have the place called Kasut, which you call Khoi today, right? So
the Khoi have a word called Kulu or Kore for the word falcon.
Yes. So you're looking at an amalgamation
So
of different African clans that make up ancient Egypt. But when you make the mistake of thinking that we do it the same way that the Hebrews do it, like Hebrews, we're looking at you, we're like, you were in Syria. When we went over there was always an issue, and it was always kind of European looking when we talk about your visitors that came into ancient Egypt. So the actual artifacts show you as a different culture, though you claim it's ancient black people. Then I do a favor for you guys, and I say, here goes one of he's called Son of Yah, and he's in ancient Egypt, and he decides to keep his ancient Egyptian name. You say, that's not us.
Like the video, thumb up the video.
Ancient Egypt shows an amalgamation of different African clans together. Shows Syria, and that you guys are a part of them, which is a little different.
All right. Hey, everybody, I want to say thank y'all for all coming in, giving y'all own advice, giving y'all own understanding. Y'all know I'm supposed to have a heavy hitter tonight, Brother Jabari, and the brother that debated Elder Yara, Brother Reginald. They supposed to come on tonight, so I'm hoping that's going on 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. I've been calling the professor all day, so he probably couldn't get back to me to let me know we still going. So I spoke to him on Tuesday, and he said, yeah, everything is still a go. So I ain't hear from him yet. So I know he got a heavy job to do in his college. So with that, brothers, I want to say peace to you. And Sankofa, come through tonight. We got the scholars on, brother. You deserve to be here. You deserve
to. Let me ask Sanfu Cooper a question real quick.
Go ahead, ask him a question.
All right. Gaddafi. What race would you say Gaddafi is? You probably say Arabic, but would you call him a mulatto or what?
Well, I mean, Gaddafi is an African. Gaddafi even said it himself. He's an African. One of the reasons that he was targeted was because of his organizing the financial institutions of Africa. So we're not gonna play games with his African nature and his identity with Africa. Now, his racial thing, you're looking at the course of thousands of years, of racial mixing. So, of course, they have a mixed racial blood in that area. Like that.
You would say the same thing about Sadat too, right? Anwar Sadat of Egypt.
Yeah, you get a darker skin there, but yeah, I know where you're going. I hear where you're going.
All right. Thank y'all. Thank everybody for coming through. Make sure y'all come through tonight, 7 o'clock. We got the scholars in the building. And peace and blessings to everybody. We out.
Peace. Peace, man.
Yo, hurry up, turn it on. sa.neter TV about to go live right now. Hurry up, I gotta watch sa.neter TV.
I watch sa.neter, 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 I watch sa.neter. Evolution, revolution, truth hour, black power, bloodline, land hours, red pill, blue pill, Sankofa. We take the red and the blue pill, we taking over. I'ma have to break my condition without a doubt. I am not a slave to the system, I'm breaking out. sa.neter know if he see the devil, he point him out. So we standing with our fist in the air to scream and shout. Peace and black power, 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 peace and black power.
The revolution is here. sa.neter Studios, sa.neter TV, Black News 102.
I watch sa.neter, 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 I watch
DoloMissionENT.com.